Hello out there. It's it's just me for now. Because I'm waiting on Boo. Aiden won't be here today, unfortunately. Um, he is a tired boy because, still, being a post hospital boy. So it'll be me and Boo tonight. And that's it. Hey, Dragon Kraken. I can't speak. Hey, Draco Kraken. How you doing? How is it going? Um, so, while we wait for Boo to get here, we're just gonna hang out for a little bit. How's it going? How are you? Any, interesting, TTRPG stuff out there? Any of you, have any interesting stories? Hey, how's it going, Royd? Seen a drop in COVID rooms? Hell yeah, dude. Good. Very good. I haven't heard like anything about the vaccine itself. Um, like where we're at with that. I was talking to someone today, and I was like, the last time I heard anything about the vaccine, um, it was like Sir Ian McKellen way back had gotten it for age 60 and up. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. Interesting. But yeah, so one day, one day. But yeah, at least not Indiana. Oh, really? Okay. I know, like some medical professionals also are getting it now. I don't know. Oh, yo, you got your first shot yesterday. That's good, Slay. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I heard it's like a two-part thing. Getting first shot next weekend for peeps that work in hospitals. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the chat.
Okay. So, what the fuck with Aiden, man?
Oh yeah, it's just bad luck. It's whatever at this point. But he's, we're not gonna go into it, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, let me turn things up because I can't hear you as much for some reason. Okay, I'm good now. Where's most people out that shot those? Okay, interesting. Talking about COVID vaccine while we were waiting for you. But yeah.
It worries people?
No. Where's the map?
Oh, yes, that's what I've heard.
Yes, yeah.
Getting at any vaccine, apparently does that. Just, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's your body just assimilating it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Second shot, okay. Well, now that Boo is here, we can move on. So, hello out there. Welcome back to the TableTalk Discussion and Discourse podcast. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Radon95.
And I, not as always, but am still playing Terraria. I'm in hard mode now, and so I'm trying to do some fucking hell fishing.
Oh, there you go. Shot in the arm is just sore. Tetanus shot hurt like a fucker. Yeah. Oh, dude, I haven't had a tetanus shot in forever because I haven't had to go anywhere. But like, man, I remember that. Yeah, that does hurt. The fuck. Anyway.
Good times.
No. So, yes, like I said before, Aiden will not be here, tonight
due to some supreme shit.
Yeah, some supreme shit, and he's tired out, and it's just the way it goes, unfortunately. So,
yeah.
We'll start out, as we always do, with a comments. We got a few. So, Lux Armok. Oh, let me get you that link to the chat, Boo.
Yeah, and the I need the watch together as well.
Yeah,
I'll
well,
get
you can get that.
I'll get it myself.
I know you know how to get that.
I do.
So, Lux Armok has been commenting on a few things, which is pretty cool. Going back to, in fact, episode 3, way back, saying, oh, excuse me. I don't think it's always wrong for character to be just evil. As far as the story is concerned, their actions need to be logical and driven by a goal, but the story doesn't necessarily need to explain why they're willing to resort to evil actions in pursuit of that goal. The evil lord who wants to assassinate one of his rivals could just be power hungry. You don't need an explanation. You don't need to explain that example any further. If you belabor his tragic backstory, excuse me, goodness, you take time away from the story of his immediate conflict with the heroes, and you risk coming across as trying to justify him. If you can add depth to the conflict of the story, that's when you should go for it. But filling out the background just to tick a box isn't worth doing. So I agree mostly. Obviously these are it is a case by case basis. By the way, let me post this because I forgot to do that into our Discord. Boop, boop. There we go. Cool. So, but yes, it is a case-by-case basis because, obviously if you are, say, having them go through a bunch of things to, like, going through different, oh god, what is it? Like going through his story kind of in a way of like getting information on him and trying to figure out, things about him that are like going to be useful. They can find this kind of information, right? But yeah, if you do try to like dump it on them at inopportune times or something, like I don't know. There's a fine line because you can have him try to explain this, like why he does these things, and make it interesting and hopefully engaging, right? That way you can add more depth to that character. And I don't know about the risk coming across as trying to justify him. I think you're risking him trying to justify himself to the PCs, and I feel like that's perfectly fine to do. Because he believes in what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Or she or whatever, believes in what they're doing because that's their position now. They are at this point of like, hey, I'm doing this because I need to, right? But yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with having a character be just evil.
That killed me. Why did that kill me? Sorry.
You're fine. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it being just evil. I don't see why you can, like, if you have it be so cut and dry, then that's fine. More nuance can be there if you need it to be, or it cannot be. It's up to you.
Yeah. It's honestly, it can sometimes be very refreshing to be like, this guy is evil. Why? Because he is evil. Okay. Sometimes it's very refreshing to just have an enemy that's evil for evil's sake.
Absolutely. Slicex says, I need to watch this infamous episode 3. That was one. It was a long while ago.
Yeah.
It's fun sometimes to just go full Punisher on an unrelenting puppy kicking dick. Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It also just depends on the tone that you're going for. If you just want there to be a bad guy, then there's nothing wrong with just having him be evil.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you get the problem where people are like, oh well, he can't be 100% evil because 100% evil doesn't exist, and then you get alignment arguments, and that's really the only problem I really see coming from shit like that. But
I think
that can come from anywhere, really.
Yeah, there's another video that I found while I was doing some searching today. I mean, far ahead because I planned this so far ahead. But there was an interesting video on evil campaigns that actually was talking about objective, like there is objectively evil and objectively good in D&D.
Yeah.
And like as soon as they started saying that, I was like, I'm saving this for later.
Yep.
So at some point we'll probably go over that, but that does exist in the
Yes.
world. And I mean, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, no. So it depends, right, on your world, of course. But if you're using quite literally the stock standard D&D stuff, objective good and evil exist, right?
Yes.
So those things can be shown. I was just about to read that Draco Craig, but now it's gone. So yeah.
Quick, use the Wayback Machine.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I still don't. I feel like I need to go into like YouTube settings for our channel and like make it so that it doesn't filter out things, because it filtered out when he was saying about the like, go full Punisher on unrelenting puppy kicking dick, and I think it's because YouTube is like censoring some things in the top chat, which is, and I don't oh, yeah, but I don't know why it does that, or why I can't change it to live chat. It's really annoying and I hate it. So
you can't change it to live chat?
I can't for the stream itself, no.
Oh.
I guess what I could do, actually, in the future, what I'll do is I'll make another window capture, and I'll do that for next time. Never mind. I've got an idea to fix it.
Okay.
So anyway, next comment. Timothy Martin on last episode says, "Awesome video. I really enjoyed it. Have a nice day." Thanks.
Thank you. Not very constructive, but thanks, I guess.
No, super appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's right. Dark Anime Vampire. Sorry. Let me properly say. I don't want to put you on blast. But
oh boy.
XX Dark Anime Vampire XX.
Hell yeah.
I remember those days. Anyway,
yep. They never went away.
They never went away. It's true.
They'll always be with us.
Yeah. Reunited, and it feels so damn good. Yes. In regards
with what
to
and who?
With Aiden coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Last episode. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely.
Oh, excuse me. Jesus.
So next off, from last episode as well, we have Bramble saying, when it comes to chasing a player up a tree, it can easily be done in 5th edition given proper preparation by both DM and player. It all comes down to what is asked for prior to play. Previously, I relied on the players preparing useful backstories for their characters that I can then utilize to instill stakes and character motivation action in play. This, as many DMs come to realize, garner varying results ranging from incredibly elaborate backstories that, while useful, can become unwieldy to a lack of any backstory at all. As of late, any backstory at all. As of late, I've pivoted to asking for a questionnaire to be filled out. It's one I wrote myself that assumes characters have had certain experiences, helping an NPC, slighting an NPC, having a great accomplishment, and great regret. It also assumes characters have personal goals they wish to achieve and known internal and external setbacks that they seek to overcome. The questionnaire aids the player in forming a backstory that is useful for both me as a DM when devising adventures and hooks that would get the player engaged. That is useful. Yeah, okay. My brain keeps saying like I'm reading this wrong somehow. Anyway, while I've orchestrated that their character has certain aspects and desires, the players define what they are. When time comes for me to back the player into a corner to chase them up a tree, I can rely on the questionnaire to know exactly what to place in peril or present to them that will get me the desired response, all the while respecting their autonomy. TLDR, use what your players/PCs already care about to engage them, and if they care about nothing, make them care beforehand. Here's a link to my character questionnaire. Some questions do make mention of heritage and lineage. It's a work in progress system I've devised that takes the place of race in 5e.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's also a link to it, which I will show you in a second. But so I agree, right, with what he's saying. It's filtering potential offensive language. It is. Okay. Yeah, I'll go in next time and see if I can fix that. But anyway, So, yeah, I agree with what he's saying, because he's saying this is a you do this with your DM and your player together, right? Like, they are talking about this beforehand.
Mm.
You're actually making this happen because of that. And what Colville was saying last time didn't give me that impression.
Yeah, it really didn't.
It really didn't give me that impression at all. It was just like, hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna back them into a tree and figure, like, and we're just gonna do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what happens. Whoever they have right now, fucking get them,
Yeah,
them,
right.
right? And like, maybe it was. I don't even know if I can say that it was implied, because I don't know. It didn't feel that way. It didn't sound that way. So I can't really speak for that. But if we miss the implication somehow, let us know. But I can't remember it being implied even. So I don't know. But if you're going to use backstory and stuff to actually do this, then yeah, okay, that's fine. Like, that you're still playing into, as you said, the player's autonomy, like, or respecting it, which is great, because you're not just going fucking go.
Yeah.
Right. So I do want to look at this character creation questionnaire. We will get to that after this last comment here from
The
Lux.
CCC, character creation questionnaire.
Uh,
Spelled
Spelled
with
with
a
a-
CW. Questionnaire.
Questionnaire. So yes, so the last one is from Lux Armok again on last episode, saying, I know the Robocop remake got a lot of hate, but you should watch it and form your own opinion. I actually liked it. I wouldn't call it one of the greatest movies ever made, but it was worth seeing. I think people are mostly put off just because they changed the tone, but I think they actually made the right decision there, because the original version took some serious talent to make it the way they did, and attempting to recreate it would have much more likely ended with a pale imitation that would not have been enjoyable at all. You could look to Robocop 3 to see what the outcome would have been like. What they did create instead deserves a better chance than it was given. Edit posted just before the next subject came up. So
I think the problem with it, I understand the that standpoint.
Sure.
But I think my issue with it is that if you have something as beloved as RoboCop, you have two options. It's either remake it and try to be as faithful as possible, or just don't remake it.
So, I don't have that stance.
Okay.
I think you can do whatever you want with any property you want. You just have to make it well.
Okay, right. Then how about Lord of the Rings?
Dude, if, like, legitimately, if somebody could make it work, like, actually make it work.
Yeah,
right?
If they actually could.
That's what I'm saying. If somebody actually has that shot and they take that shot and it succeeds, great. Absolutely. If they don't, like, they won't, because I have no faith, right?
Yes, it's true.
I have no faith in the Lord of the Rings TV show that's coming, because
There's a Lord of the Rings TV show? What?
That's what it is. That's the remake, quote unquote. It is a TV show. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was the case. Yeah. But anyway,
I just pulled that out of my ass.
Yeah, there you go.
I should be a TV director.
So this goes into, like, if they make it and they make it well, like, give them a shot. Whatever, I don't care. That's fine. You can take that shot. You just have to make sure that you're making it as best as you can. And yeah, it's not going to compare it to the original as well. Obviously, that's just something that happens, right?
Yeah.
Remakes and sequels and all of that, they can't compare to the original usually. But they didn't do that as far as I'm aware. Now, I will give you this. I haven't watched it myself. But the point of things out there that are called reviews, right? Reviews and impressions and opinions from people that you respect and trust their opinions of, right? The TV show is the age before Lord of the Rings? That's right. I forgot. Yeah. Okay.
No.
So if that's the case, fucking go for it, right? Like, you're not doing the story like it's already been told. If you're doing it before that, neat. Anyway, sorry. But so my whole thing is, if I don't care to watch something because I just don't want to, or if I really want to be informed about something that I really hope to like be good, right? I'll watch a review, I'll look at a review, I'll do all that kind of stuff because I want to not waste my time.
Yes.
More so than my money, right? Wasting my money is something that I will do. Like that's something that's just
we play Warhammer.
Yeah, exactly.
That should answer your question right there.
Yeah, exactly. I'll waste my money. That will happen, but my time is very precious, right?
Yes.
We only have that limited amount of time, not to get too, deep and shit, but legitimately, like, that is why it's got to be worth my time and money. So if I look at a review or I hear people that I respect their opinions of, say this is probably not for you, then I go, okay, it's probably not for me, right? Sometimes I will not heed that warning. Sometimes I will get very curious. It depends, right? And honestly, if enough people go, really, really, you should watch the Robocop remake, I might do it, right? But it's one of those things where, and at that point, maybe I won't because a lot of people are telling me to, and then that does the other thing, right?
Fucking circle.
Yeah, it's a bad circle. But regardless, that's my whole stance on it. And I'm not trying to like, say that what you're saying is wrong or anything. No. I think you're absolutely fine to have that kind of perspective on it. I don't care about the Robocop remake because I own the Blu-ray of the original, right?
Yeah.
And like that's all I need, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't care for like that story is fine for me right there. Right at the end of Robocop 1. I know 2 is probably okay as well. I've heard of that, and 3 is fucking silly. And I want to watch 3 just because, and 2. But with something like the remake, from everything that I saw and heard, I was just like, nah, I don't care.
Yeah. Cause like the gritty like awfulness of the original, that's why I like it.
Yeah, that I like so Robocop. 80s.
Yes, and it is so future Detroit.
Yes, oh, absolutely.
And like that's the reason why I would never watch like a Dirty Harry remake. Because the reason why I like Dirty Harry is because of how filthy and grimy the fucking 70s are. Sorry, 70s.
Sorry, period of time that is far past and was very grimy, yes.
Yeah, sorry. It's true.
But yeah. No,
it's not a flattering thing to call it, but it's true.
And I'm willing to accept that I might even like the Robocop remake. I just don't care. Right? Yeah. I just don't care. Anyway, one of those few people that believe that a good live-action anime adaptation is possible, but difficult and niche. It's absolutely possible. I will give you,
it is possible.
It is so possible. I've never seen one.
I loved Dragon Ball Z Evolution.
That should.
I never saw it.
That should be on the docket. You should watch that. It's bad. I've seen it. I watched it myself by myself.
I don't want to. Okay, so you watch it by yourself.
I watched it by myself.
That's the worst way to watch a bad movie.
Yep.
And you're just alone with it?
Yep. I ruminated on that.
I'm sure.
Anyway, the Robocop remake was an okay movie, I felt. That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
And 2 and 3 are fun. Okay. Or no, you like 2 and 3 is fun. Okay. Yeah. Fair.
Okay. Yeah, because I've heard that 3 is where they seriously just jump the shark.
All I remember seeing is the jetpack, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Well, I mean, if they can bring a dead guy back to life with robot parts, I think they could probably make a jetpack.
Yeah, but the guy was brought back to life with robot parts, and he was just not great as a robot. Like he was unkillable, right? But he could move at like 2 meters per hour.
Is true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
that's very true.
He was not great. I love the movie. I love it to death.
Yeah.
But fucking like, yeah.
Yeah, no. Ninja Assassins, yeah.
Ninja Assassin's in it? Oh god.
That's a movie, Ninja Assassin.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Harlock Space Pirate movie was a good animated live action movie, I thought. I watched the 3D animated movie of Harlock, I think it was.
God, I can't get over like
was okay.
3D anime. It's so weird.
Well, it wasn't anime, it was legitimately just a 3D like animation like movie.
Oh no, I mean like just
in general. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Just in general, like B-Stars and shit. I know I've never heard anything bad about that show. Fuck, sure? I can't get into it.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
I just can't. The art style is so fucking weird.
I'm gonna try just because I'm gonna try to like ignore that, right? Because I watched something else. God, what was it?
That's why I can never watch fucking One Piece, because I hate the art style that much.
One Piece is just too much and too long. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It was CGI. That's right. Yeah. CGI. The CGI Harlock was the one that I watched. Yes.
I just made like a fuck ton of enemies, I'm sure, by saying that.
You're fine. Who cares?
They
anyway.
will, not me.
Right. Anyway, welcome to our anime.
Welcome to our anime podcast.
And movie podcast. So, let's look at this character questionnaire really quick before we start doing other things. I've linked it to you. So, character creation questionnaire. The story of your character. This is a little small because my eyes are like a old person's. Anyway, excuse me. So, the campaigns I run are very character-focused, while the world of Abrox, I don't know, is rife for exploration. It is also an ever-evolving work in progress that expands as I make new content and players shape it with their characters' interactions. I love it already. Okay. That's exactly how I like doing my worlds, where the characters, whatever they do, will affect how the world like goes forward. Yes, good.
So basically, what I'm hearing is that you don't like to do any work. You want your players to do all the work for you. I see.
Every aspect of my games are a work of collaboration between player and DM. Nice.
Ooh.
The world of Abrazk is merely a backdrop for your character's story to be told. The questions below will help me in ensuring your time spent playing your character will be fulfilling and rewarding. Let's work together to make a tale that will be recounted for years to come. Dude, I like your little intro here. I like that little intro. Yeah. That's really nice. About your character.
Well, what if my world isn't named Abrox? This is...
Shush.
Okay.
Okay. About your character. What's your character's name? What's your character's alias? What is your character's heritage and lineage or race? What is your character's background and profession? Who is your character's mentor? Heritage and lineage / background and profession. How is your character's upbringing? That's always an important one, I think. What will your character die for? Okay. What will your character never cross? Or what line will your character never cross and why? Okay. What is your character's personal goal? What is preventing your character from achieving their goal? Internal.
Ooh.
What / who is preventing your character from achieving their goal? External. I like the idea of having internal and external because it could be no external thing at all. It could just be internal, right?
Yeah.
Or other way around. What is helping your character achieve their goal? What drives your character forward? What does your character consider to be their greatest achievement so far? What is your character's greatest regret? What might others have heard about your character before meeting them? Upon seeing them, what do others first notice about your character? After speaking with them, what do others notice about your character? How does your character decide who to trust? Who has your character helped and why? Who has your character slighted and why? Who is the most important person to your character? What is your character's most prized possession? How does your character relax? What is your character afraid of? What is your character's happy ending? And what is your character's worst nightmare? Hey, Mog. How's it going? Yeah, I think this is a great questionnaire. I really do.
That's really good.
It's very in depth. It's got a lot for you to work with here. So,
and it's also a lot of very simple stuff.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
That's the other thing, because like you can we watched a video from How to Be a Great GM one time, and the thing that he did was don't kill your parents in your backstory, so that way you can have parents to work off of. And then a simple question like, talk about your parents. You know, it's like, what is your relationship with your parents? Are they alive? And like, do you like them? Do you dislike them? Why? Just really simple questions can really facilitate a lot of backstory. It's great.
With this, you can be as detailed or as sparse as you want to be. Like
exactly,
it's really good. I very much enjoy this. Like the Q&A, is it public? This is this was commented on our last episode, so yes, it is public.
Who did this? We should mention his name again.
Right, yes. That was Bramble.
Okay, and Anonymous Jackalope up at the top right?
That's just how Google does Google Docs.
Oh,
things.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, very cool. I'll put it in the a link in the chat right now for those of you who want to
steal it.
Who want to steal it forever.
To borrow it without asking.
Exactly.
And without any intention of returning it.
Exactly. That's the one. Cool. There you go. Have that. So that news guy's the villain got a hold of your questionnaire.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So cool. Well, very cool, Bramble. If you have any more of those kinds of things that you've been doing, I would love to see them because that's some good shit right there. Anyway, so it's not stealing, it's recycling. That's true. So today, everyone, we are brought to you, of course, by viewers like you. Thank you. We'll get to them later on, but we're gonna start with our first video. So,
yes.
Boo!
What?
In combat. Do you roleplay?
No.
Oh.
Of course not.
Why would you do that? No.
Why the hell would I do that?
Well, for I don't remember Nick Pearson. His players also don't roleplay in combat.
Well, sounds like they are very, very good players for not having done that ever.
No, so this is it's not, he's not promoting this, right?
Yes.
Let's be clear here. I watched a minute and 15 seconds of this, and at that point I went, ooh. Like an interested ooh. Not a oh. Because he says something that makes me go, I'm very interested to see what you do here. So I'm going to wait until the show. So let us begin.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but it feels like to me, no matter how good a group of role players I have, every time initiative is rolled, they just sort of stop role playing. Pretty much every turn in combat comes down to some variation of so I'm gonna run up to the guy the other orc, and I'm gonna hit him with my sword. Okay, so I got a 19 to hit. Okay, that hits. I'm gonna roll damage. Yeah, that's 14 damage. Okay. Oh, I've got extra attack, so I'm gonna hit him again. That's a 24 to hit. Oh my goodness, every single time. That's what combat is. Or it could be this. So I'm gonna cast Hold Person on him. That's a DC 16 Wisdom save. Yeah, a 19 saves. Okay, I'm going to move behind this pillar and question all of my life choices. And that's every turn.
Okay, I like that.
And it ends with, that's my turn. Okay, so what happened to role-playing in combat? And I have to take a lot of the blame for this because I do the same thing as the monsters. The dragon walks up to you and uses Claw Claw Bite. These are what he rolls. Like, I'm not flavoring or narrating or having interesting, dynamic, dramatic role-playing in combat either. And so I wanted to see if maybe I could create a mechanical system that would encourage but not require that at my table.
So first off, right, that first minute, I love it.
Yes.
I love it, actually.
Yes.
Because
it's very true.
Because it is true, yes. And he even accepts fault.
Yes.
Because he's promoting it by doing it himself.
Yes.
Right? Like, already my brain goes, yes.
Mhm.
It's firing off. My neurons are going. I've been playing a lot of monkey game Ancestor, Human Odyssey, and so I'm looking in my own brain and seeing those neurons now fire and connect. It's a great game, by the way. Really fun.
Yeah, I looked into it. I never actually got around to it.
Oh, you should. Oh, it's super fun, actually. Anyway, but so good. And as soon as he said, I want to find a way to make this like a mechanical thing that you don't have to do, but it's just an option to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also made me go,
Yes.
yes.
I can actually point to a couple games that actually one that I know off the top of my head that has stuff like that. The one that I know of for sure is 7th Sea, actually.
That's right. Yes.
Where every time you make a character, you have you choose like a background and you choose a whole bunch of other stuff during character creation, but you choose a quirk and a it's like the negative it's a negative version of a quirk.
Fault.
I will go with fault. I don't remember if it's called fault, but yeah. Basically, you choose a quirk and a fault. And a quirk is basically just a straight bonus that has to do with like the way you built your character. And the fault is something negative that has to do with your quirk. And so if your quirk is like I don't know. And what am I trying to say here? Say your quirk is like lawful or something like that.
Sure.
And you get bonuses for, acting in a good, lawful manner. Like, you see a thief, you call them out, you try to chase them down. You actually get, in 7th Sea, you get what's called hero points. That lets you do big super abilities. And there is a specific fault that you can take that I remember off the top of my head called timid, where if you ever downplay your role in any action that would benefit either you or both you and your party, you get a hero point. Even if that even if it like negatively affects your party for being timid in this situation, you get a hero point for acting that way. And
you're in a group of pirates. They're facing off against other pirates. Your character sees across the deck, on the other ship's deck, there's a man with a rifle aiming it at your captain, and you go, "Hey guys, so there's
no, not like that. It's like you shoot him, and they're like, "Who did that? What man saved me?" And everybody points to you, and you're like, "Oh no, no."
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's like that.
Okay. So he's just like, "Oh no, I didn't do that."
And so like admitting that could be very beneficial to you and your other partners on the ship. But since you're timid, you can choose to downplay it and then not get any benefit from that. And maybe like some scummy like third or second mate is like, "Oh, I did it."
Right, yeah. No, it was him, yeah.
Yeah. And then there are ones specifically there are faults like that are specifically for combat. So it does actually allow you to role play certain ways in combat and get a real bonus. That's not actually just like inspiration like D&D where you just kind of wind up playing favorites.
Yeah. Well, so the other thing that I would also put is like, we've done it before of just like, hey, in combat, I just want to do this thing. How's it going to play out? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, that's the thing that a lot of people will do, I think. Where it's just like, they'll just do whatever they want to do with it. Like there's barrels in the room and they go, all right, I'm going to kick over the barrels so that they all fall and start rolling at my opponents. Right. And then you go, okay, let's do it. Right. Like, it's not necessarily just role-playing. It is also kind of looking to your environment and seeing what's there, but it is, in a way, kind of role-playing. So, trust me, as a former teacher, steal, edit, repurpose anything and everything.
Yes.
It's called plagiarism. Illusion of choice. Yeah, there's a big illusion going on. Don't worry about it. I think we're all guilty of doing simple combat, especially when the combat is long. I try to narrate
Yeah.
combat in the beginning, or when doing so, add something to combat. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We were
Yeah,
talking
or
about
if something spectacular happens, like when
it
we
deserves
just had
notice.
we did just have a session last week finally.
Mhm.
Where no nat ones or Brogan or
Mhm.
whatever you want to call him,
That guy.
he used a shocking touch on a wolf, and
That's right.
he nearly killed him in one hit. And I'm like, ooh, that was a lot of damage in one fucking hit. So, like, you know what? I'm gonna narrate this out, and I described how you could see like burn marks appearing in his mouth. His teeth were glowing red from the heat and shit.
It was
And it was very, very
cool.
descriptive. It was very, very descriptive. But you can't do that every time, because once you start doing it every time, then you start to lose the specialness of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the big things get their moment that you narrate, and it's always that's kind of the case, right? Hey, Chrono, they better kick over those barrels. I put all the time into painting those prop minis. Yeah, exactly, dude. Right? Like, dude, I super honest to God, I wish that we played in person. So like, I would so want to get terrain and like set up terrain and like, man, be so.
But then
cool.
you got it. Well, the thing is, it's a lot easier to do that if you have a campaign that takes place in just a few specific spots.
Dude, fuck it. I want to make fucking terrain. That's the thing. It's bad. It's a bad thing to do for financially, but man, it would be so fun.
Yeah,
and make little dioramas, basically.
Yeah.
I would be so bad at it, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's continue because I'm very interested to see what mechanically we can do. In D&D. Make all the terrain, then use it for 40k. Exactly.
Yeah.
So much terrain. I'm running out of space in my house, dude. Give me some. I'll take some.
So let's see what we came up with. Hey everybody, it's Nick, and this was a problem at my table since I've started DMing, and I haven't figured out a way to fix it, and I haven't put real big effort into fixing it, and I
never figured it out.
Focused on different areas, and this is the area that I'm focusing on right now as a DM, and I looked at it and said, this is a problem. I think combat can be super narrative and flavorful and have interesting role-playing moments and cool decisions made as characters, but oftentimes once combat gets started, players just look at their character sheets and go, these are the things I can do, so I only get to do these things, and if I were to do something mechanically different, it would be suboptimal, so I'm not going to do anything creative. I'm just going to go up and hit him with my sword because that's the most powerful thing I could do in combat, so that's all I can do. And I wanted to sort of break that mindset and mentality, and I tried to come up with, and I mean honestly just steal, a rule set that I think will create this system a little bit, or at least encourage it. So as with all homebrew,
I want to say, and now my brain is starting to lose what I wanted to say, so that's pretty cool. Fuck. Well, anyway.
Anyway, welcome back.
Hello. Dragon says the best incentive I've seen to make people be more descriptive is the how do you kill it / how do you do it for a final boss or last kill. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's
why we have you usually have a describe your kill moment.
Yes, exactly, right. Like fucking you see it in Critical Role, you see it in any actual play, I think, because of that, like, or any game now because of that, because people are like, I want to do my big finishing thing. It does, like, whatever. Yeah, let's do it, right? And you'll describe that shit, and it's really cool. Still trying to figure out what he said that made me go, I need to say something, and I've forgotten it. So we're just gonna move on. It's
okay.
Gone.
We need to first figure out what the problem is. We need to identify the problem accurately, and then we need to say, what are our intended outcomes or our goals? What are we trying to have happen as a result of this system? And then, what is the system we implement? And then we look and see, did it accomplish what we were going for? All right, so first, the problem. I've sort of identified the problem already. I think that players are not narrating or creating flavorful or interesting decisions or actions in combat. And the intended outcomes are fixing that. I want to have players feel like they are able to have creative choices in combat, but also I want them to narrate and flair and flavor their actions more while initiative has been rolled. So credit where credit is due. I have stolen this idea completely wholesale from one of my DM friends, Jimmy. Everybody needs to get themselves a Jimmy, somebody that you can debate DM philosophy with and ideology with into the late hours of the morning. But this is something that he came up with, and also credit where credit is due. It's not something he came up with. It's something he completely wholesale stole from the Exalted RPG. And Exalted, to my very limited understanding at least, is this crazy kung fu anime tabletop RPG that if that is up your alley, I don't know, maybe take a look at the Exalted system. But this is something that he stole from them, and I am stealing from him. So in Exalted, this system is called the Stunt Bonus System, but I'll be completely honest, I hate that name for what I am trying to go for in D&D, so I have renamed it to the Narrative Bonus System. So all this is if you narrate your action in combat, you get a +1 to your proficiency for that action. Period. That's it. It's super, super simple.
That sounds a lot like really like baby inspiration. I'm not sure I like that. Just the effect specifically. I like the what am I trying to say? I like again, it's the same thing as with yes. I like the objective. I like what you're trying to do, but not the effect. Because that makes it way too gamey, I think.
Yeah. Like there's a balance, I think, that you need to do that is both, and it's hard because when you do this right, when you do this in this way, it's just like anything literally so it makes it so there's this now is it doesn't feel optional. Right.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It feels like in that becomes the kind of thing where it's like, well, I'm not going to be good enough to function if we don't do it. So
yeah, exactly.
Gotta do it.
It is quite literally, instead of making it more of a creative kind of thing, it is a more forced thing because it will always give you that +1 regardless of how you do it. Like, I assume there's variation, and maybe he'll go into it. I assume there's variation of like you need to describe it more than just a few words, right? Like you want to actually give me paint me a picture, maybe. I don't know, but regardless, it is quite literally, if that is always going to happen, there is no reason not to. And like, again, it's fine, right? It's fine. It's just like
it seems way too removed from what you're trying to do, because you're trying to you're trying to encourage role-playing, but you're doing it specifically and really only with a gameplay mechanic. So roleplay and make this seem more thematic, and then you'll be rewarded in terms of gameplay. It doesn't really work for me.
So this is again, this is the thing of like, whenever we kind of role play something out, we describe something, we kind of it depends, right? Because when we're doing it for 3.5, 3.5 has actual like called shots and stuff, right? Like you can do that. That is a part of the system. Now, that is technically only if you take the feat, but we always work with everybody can do it, because why the fuck not?
Yeah, because it makes sense.
It's
sense is always the thing.
Sense is a big thing that we do. So when you do that kind of thing, we still take the penalty and stuff to do it, but if you do it, then like you poke the guy in the eye, right? Or you slice at his hand and he drops the thing. Like it's however that works. And like, when you, I don't know, like with my barrel example, let's say you kick the barrels over and now there are a bunch of barrels everywhere as well, right? Like that is a difference of also the terrain that you've created, more so than just I get a +1, right? And like, I assume if they did the same thing in his setting, that would work too. Like they would go, okay, there are barrels everywhere now, right? Like I assume that would also be the case, but I don't know. This guy's worked in the STEM field. It's the way he approached the problem. There you go. Probably. I don't know STEM.
Yeah,
I made this. You made this. I made this. Slaps a coat of paint on it. Yeah. It's that meme. It's good.
Yeah.
I haven't played Exalted, but isn't it a game of massive D6s? I don't know, but that sounds neat. It sounds like a thing. I don't know. Maybe it'd be cool. This makes me wonder if I could make a support system like Fire Emblem that only progresses if you make moves that would bond you inside and outside of combat. I haven't played Fire Emblem. A lot of people have, and it's really good. I would really like it. I know that, but I just never have. But so I don't know. You'd have to explain that further. But if that's like inside of combat, if you do a move to like, I don't know, assist an ally, does it raise the bond? I assume. I don't know. And then you talk outside of combat. That's literally just role playing in D&D. So yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine RPing in 4E combat encounters. They would be like 8 hours long.
Yeah. That's the other thing. The reason why we cut combat down to like very, very simplistic terms is because of how long it takes.
Yeah, exactly.
As fun as combat can be, you don't want to be there that long.
Yeah, let's.
I mean, hell, we had a boss fight with one
I was just
enemy.
about to say, yeah, that took an hour.
How long did that take? Like 2.5 hours?
I think it was an hour. I would have to go back in the footage, but
and we were all having fun. It
was super fun.
But it takes forever.
It takes a long time. But yeah. So,
do is instead of saying I hit the guy with my sword, is I wipe the blood from the corner of my mouth, I make eye contact with the troll, I swing my sword at his head, and then pivot at the last second, sort of feinting to try to catch him off guard. Awesome. It's a +1 to your attack. Or I grab my holy symbol in my left hand, and with my right I draw the necessary runes, and then I utter the word of power and cast banishment on the creature. Okay, that's a +1 to your spell save DC for that spell, because that's part of your proficiency. Wow. I think that rewarding players mechanically is the way to encourage something like this narratively, especially in the midst of combat. Because, let's be honest, even those hardened role players among us are still looking at our character sheets, we're still rolling dice, it still has to do with numbers and math, and while I love characters and development and role-playing and conversation, dice, math, numbers, and damage are all an integral part of this game. It's not a pure narrative experience. If you wanted that, you would play a different game that didn't have so much to do with like dice and randomness and killing stuff, right? So anyways,
oh yes. If I didn't
So
want
yes,
to
but
use...
also no.
Yeah, if I didn't want... okay.
Yeah, no, that sentence doesn't really work, sorry.
Because like I understand what he means, but it doesn't mean that we can't do it still. I don't know.
Yeah.
So the thing that gets me is just the +1 again. Now that we're going more into it, now that he's giving examples, it's like, oh, you made the holy symbol really well.
Yeah,
right? Like, you made it better than anyone else has ever like made it, so it gave you a +1.
The greatest at making holy symbols, my dude.
Right?
You know, there was a thing I used to do when I ran my very first game. When we had moments in combat where there wasn't really, because like, you know, eventually combat gets to the point where it's like, okay, I do this, you hit, I do this, you hit, I do this, you miss, you know, that kind of shit. Yeah. That always happens. And so the thing that I started to do was just to poke fun at that, even in the moment. I was like, okay, you shoot your bow and you're really fucking good at it. So you hit, and that's it. You cast you cast lightning bolt and you're really good at it.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Just completely swinging into the chaos and just fucking going with it.
Yeah, I 100% have done that too. 100%. Like, sometimes when the combat goes a little too long, you just go, yeah, you fucking do it. You fucking swing that sword.
I know that you do that. Like, I remember you saying that exact fucking quote to me sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking do it.
Like,
I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with combat eventually becoming that.
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. And like as we've said, give those special moments the specialness they deserve, and then
Yes.
we're good.
Yeah.
So, Fire Emblem Awakening was my favorite dating sim disguised as a strategy game. That is also something that I've heard, which is fun. Dude, you put a dating sim with a strategy game, I'm in. I love strategy games. I fucking loved playing. I don't. This
So
might
when
be
are we gonna get Honey Pop Awakening?
No.
Honey Pop Hero's Journey or something.
Ooh, God. Ooh. That probably already exists somewhere.
Yeah, probably it already does.
No, but I was gonna say this might be a poll, but I fucking played and still love the shit out of Shining Force. The old.
Oh, dude, Shining Force is fucking cool.
Fuck yeah, somebody else.
I've never played it, but I know how cool it is.
Dude, I need to sit down and play Shining Force 2. Never played it. But there was a second one.
Yep.
Not never played it. I tried playing through it and I just never got around to finishing it. But fucking Shining Force 1 I finished multiple times. It's a great game. I love that game.
Nice.
Anyway, in Fire Emblem, if two units fight next to each other, they gain support, which is only leveled to a rank when having an outside of combat talking scene. In turn, the support levels increase stats when adjacent to the support. That's a watered down explanation. Okay, gotcha.
This fucking pirate invasion is so hard.
I actually agree with most of it. If you're playing the game, you want to play it for the mechanical aspects. Excuse me. The big thing is the balance between roleplay and mechanics. But I also get what you guys are saying. You don't want the mechanics to become so tied into the roleplay that the only impetus to do it is for mechanical gain. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you got
that's
it.
the problem.
Yeah,
and when you're
absolutely.
making it so obvious,
Mhm.
that's the thing. Like, for example, if you said, say you're throwing a grenade and you say, I make my attack roll and I missed. Okay, you missed. But if you say, I want to pull the pin, cook it, and then try to like roll it across the ground to the guy's feet so that it blows up when it gets close enough, then I might be like, okay, you know what? Since you have bonuses in whatever, in like say demolitionist, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
You're good at timing explosions and shit, then you can have a +1. But I wouldn't just do that for every single one.
Right.
I would make it more so that it happens occasionally if it's something that particularly like impressed me. It's basically my version of inspiration.
Yeah.
Except you never know when it's going to come, and it's not just okay, you get inspiration. Which has always still kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but whatever.
Right, exactly. I would use something like the momentum system from Star Trek RPG. I still need to look into that.
Momentum, it's also in the Conan RPG.
Oh!
Yeah.
With what he's trying to do. In Star Trek, if you crit or have more successes than needed to beat a task, add the extra to your group's momentum pool.
Yep,
normally
it's that same thing.
Okay, cool. Normally you draw from the pool to add extra dice to your pool to roll. Max is 6 plus 6 in the pool. Maybe just adding +1 bonus instead for good descriptions in combat. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Fire Emblem is compared to Shining Force a lot, particularly the GBA ones. That makes sense. Okay, cool. But yeah, that sounds like that does sound like a good. I like that idea because this is the thing with like is I assume Star Trek and the Conan system, if they both use this, are they more skill based?
Yes, they are more skill based.
That's why. Yeah. So skill based systems usually have more of a success thing, right? Where you get if you do way better with your successes, you get a sort of bonus. I always enjoy that. And like, yeah, if you did that somehow, that would be neat to do. That's like what
D&D is built. You can't really do it,
right?
D&D.
And that's why Pathfinder has that with the critting. If you have like 10 over their AC, you'll always crit if you do that, or you get the natural 20, right?
Yeah,
it actually has something like that, which is why I like the Pathfinder system. It accounts for that shit, and it also has the degrees of success and failure. Right, built into the rules themselves to go, this is how we do it. So if you want to do it this way, fucking go for it. And my brain goes,
how we do it.
I like. My brain goes, I like the system where I can do the skills better or worse if I get a good or bad roll. Yeah.
Because it always sucks to be like, yeah, oh man, I need to pick open this lock. I rolled a fucking 19. Well, you only needed a 5.
Right, exactly. But if you do it, and like usually we'll add some flair to it of like, yeah, you do it within, like, you thought that this lock would take maybe 10 minutes to actually pick, but you do it in like a minute. It's crazy. You do it so good.
Fucking do it.
Yeah, you fucking do it. You RP a critical hit, add +1 to the momentum pool for the group. RP how you hurt you, add +1 to the pool. So the max someone could draw from the pool for a roll is +6 in a dire situation. That would be neat if we could try to use the momentum system in D&D or in any other RPG. That would be pretty cool. It might work. I don't know. Some testing would need to be done.
Mechanical bonuses, I think, are an integral part of a solution to this problem, but it's a very small bonus. It's just a +1, and if you are a particularly nefarious or concerned DM about balancing, what you could do, it's not what I'm doing, but what you could do is just give a +1 to the AC and all of the saving throws of all the monsters you run, and then it cancels out, and the players don't know any different because they're not seeing the monsters behind the screen. You could do that if you wanted to keep the math completely even, but as long as the players feel like they're getting a bonus, then it works out. I don't know that I would recommend doing that, but you are free to do so. So there are a couple of very key points that I want to highlight here before you run off and start using this system. First off, there are no degrees of quality when it comes to this narration. I am not going to give a +2 bonus or a +3 bonus to somebody who has better narration than somebody else, and I'm not going to judge whether or not somebody's narration is good enough, typically, unless they basically just say, like, I swing my sword at his head. Is that enough narration for a bonus? Like,
there you go.
If you say that every single time, that's no longer narration. That's just part of what you say for your attack. It's got to be something, and we can all know that at the table. But I'm not going to give points for quality or demerits for quality in this narration because it's very subjective. It's super, super subjective as to whether or not narration is good or not. And so the thing I told my players...
no, you've already created an objective standard.
Yeah, now you just did.
Yeah, you literally just created an objective standard of you can't just say I swing my sword at your head. There is a standard being set, and you like
just said it.
That is objective.
Like, sorry, but
okay.
I know what you're trying to say. I know you're trying to be like 100% fair to everybody, but you did just exactly outline what you have to do.
Yeah. So okay.
As long as you engage with this system, you get a bonus. And that's very key right there. Engage in the system and get a bonus because there shouldn't be a penalty for not engaging in the system. If you are the type of...
Well, the penalty bonus.
Yeah, the penalty is you just don't get a bonus.
That is the penalty.
That is a penalty. Like, quite literally. Why would I never...
I fucking hate it when we have videos where we're like, oh man, this is really good. And then it does a 180 and I'm like, oh, I want to like this.
It's not horrible, right? Like, again, if it's working for you, great. I'm glad. But just, you're saying things and then you're contradicting yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And so, like, I like this video. I like the idea. I like the intention. I'm just like, oh, you've already gone back on it. I'm like, no, that's not right.
Exactly. So
player who doesn't want to role play all the time or think of all these things, or you can't come up with something on your turn, you're just like, I don't know, man, I really am just gonna hit him with my sword, whatever. That's fine. It's really okay. You're not getting punished.
But you're not getting the bonus
whatsoever for this.
Okay, so if everyone around you is able to get these things just on the fly, you are at a penalty. You are quite literally worse than everyone else.
You are performing worse.
You have quite literally set a way to make them now penalized because they can't roleplay.
One might say.
Penalized, in fact, yes, where they can't roleplay well enough. That you have now set that as the standard.
Yeah,
it is unfortunate, but that is what you have done. Like. And again, I understand we need some kind of incentive, right? I get that, right? But man, I don't know. It's hard to have this line where you go, everybody, if you don't roleplay, it's fine, right? But if you do
No, it's
roleplay, you're
not.
better.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. It's hard. I understand this, but I honestly can't think of a really good solution to this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's why we usually don't have a concrete system in place, because like
Because that's just hard.
it's hard to do, and like, not saying that because it's hard we don't want to do it. No, it's because I don't think either of us are intelligent enough to make a system like that.
Probably not.
I'll admit it. And I understand like criticizing it from being unable to, do it ourselves is kind of whatever, but I don't care. That's it's still one of those things where we get our perspective from it. But anyway, maybe I really like the idea of this momentum system. I really like that idea being implemented, and maybe that being the case. And I see Mark says he'll test it for his next Pathfinder game. Please tell us how it goes. That'd be super cool.
Yeah, because what you do is you have a momentum pool, and then if you roll successes, more successes than you need, it goes into the pool, and anybody can draw from that. It's as simple as that. It's a very simple and elegant system, actually.
Yeah, no, it sounds neat. It's one of those things where I'm interested because it's going into something that is a not skill-based system, right?
Yes.
And that could be the deciding factor of it not working as well. Right? Because again, like, what are the limits to this? I understand it's only +6, but is this also +6 to attacks? Is this also +6 to your DCs? Is this only for skills, right? Like, and I'd have
to look at Conan again.
This is what I'm saying is applying it to D&D, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
In D&D, if I get 20 against this AC 10 thing, that counts as a success, and now I get to add a d6, so we're getting these mini inspirations, which is cool, but like, is it because I got that +10? Is it any time I get over the AC? Like, we have to set some rules and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's an interesting, my brain says I want to test it, right? And I want it to work, but my brain also says,
too lazy?
Well, no, it's not too lazy. It's just like, I don't know if it would really be really good. I don't know. Just because of the difference of it not being a skill system. That's really that's the only thing that makes me go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bring a bowl of candy and give them a piece when they roleplay.
Yeah.
I give you food. Yes, piece of candy. No, that could work. I mean,
treat them like dogs.
Treat them like dogs. If you do it every attack in the fight, it has a chance of becoming redundant. Yes.
Yes.
As you guys said, use it for special moments so they stand out than your normal attacks. Over your normal attacks. Yes, I agree.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck? A fuzzy carrot? What the fuck does that do? A rideable bunny? What?
Oh,
dude!
Yeah. There was like a rideable slime and stuff, I remember, right?
Yeah, there's a rideable slime. I got this from the Angler. It's not very good. But hey. Because I've got the rideable bee that can let me fly.
Oh, yeah.
So fuck the bunny.
Maybe taking a point of exhaustion because characters kind of going beyond their limits to use the +6. Okay, so, you have brought back my brain to a point where I was in the process of creating, magical exertion tables.
Ooh!
I remember talking about this a long time ago.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
And we never did anything with it because I forgot.
Yep.
And you've reminded me. Yeah, something like that would be cool. And like my brain, so this is kind of unrelated, but kind of related. The magical exertion tables would be, basically if you run out of spell slots, right? Like that's how it goes. But you need that, like, everybody's really low or something, and you're at that final fight, and fucking the cleric calls upon the divinity of his god to channel one final spell that will heal everyone, right? He uses I don't fucking remember what the spell is. Anyway,
Mass Cure Wounds or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember what the 5e spell is. I don't know. That's where my brain went because it was making it originally for 5e just to make it more interesting, but it could work for any system really. So you get to that point. They roll on a table, they roll to see if it goes through. There are varying degrees of if it goes through. Some are real bad botches. Some are very good, right? The cleric rolls, it goes through, but there's a bad botch. The cleric, like, glows from head to toe with radiant light bursting out of his form. His entire being becomes energy that washes over all of the party and heals them back to full, but the cleric is gone. Right? Like, you then have this thing where it's a gamble. It's always going to be a gamble, right?
And if you ever fuck up, you instantly die.
Well, there is a limit. There is obviously, like, there would have to be some sort of things in place.
Yeah, it had to be a real bad botch.
Right, exactly. So, like,
one of the things that I like about the system, the way you're portraying it.
Yeah.
There's a system like this in Call of Cthulhu where if you have enough Cthulhu mythos knowledge, you can actually try to spontaneously manifest a spell.
Oh my god, there you go.
And so if you roll in your Cthulhu mythos and you don't know the spell, the spell will manifest, but there's a problem.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
exactly like what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you can do the exact same thing. Except it's usually way worse.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'll give you another example of another one that's pretty good, I think. But I'll do that in a second. I really like the idea of risk versus reward. For spells, for magic, right? Because magic is something that you're tapping into, depending on your lore. For D&D itself, it's the weave, right? The weave is something
Smoke weave every day. Sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry.
You're good. So it's quite literally not a fickle thing, but it is itself something that is kind of alien still, right? You are only tapping into the weave in order to manifest these spells. And like for sorcerers, they are quite literally tapping into their own energy that is a part of themselves, or with the clerics and other things like that, they are tapping into their patrons or their divine, the divinity of a god, right? And so having that gamble of you can only channel so much of this divinity or this power, right? And then if you really, really need it, it's gonna be a gamble, but you could very well do it in that time and save everyone, or maybe fuck yourself over. Like
it's fucking Kaioken.
Yes.
Where eventually, I think it was King Kai himself who said it's like energy and fucking mass are the same thing.
Right.
So if you fucking try to have too much energy, then your mass becomes energy, and then you're just a fucking poof.
There you go. Exactly.
So yes, it was King Kai, not Einstein.
So like you have that, and then my other example is the wizards who succeed, who save their party from the big bad, right? They vanquish the big bad with, like, say, meteor, right? Like they manifest that and it falls and it kills them and everyone's okay. But they then find they can't tap into that magic anymore. It's gone.
It's just burned out.
They are permanently magicless, right?
Yes.
Like, have that be another consequence for some. Like, you cannot use magic anymore.
Go Full Metal Alchemist on them.
Exactly, dude. Right? Like, there's so many good examples. It's one of those things where it's just fucking let's do it, right? So anyway, that's where my brain has gone, and I should really work on that. It's in a notebook over there that I just haven't touched for a long time.
Like it always is.
Yeah, exactly. I have these ideas in my head, man.
Yeah, same.
My favorite console, the Weave.
Ah,
I did a momentum rule set for 3.5 that halves your bonus over their AC, or half your bonus over their AC becomes extra damage. It made True Strike it made True Strike crazy with that plus 20 at first level. That makes sense. Jesus. Yeah, there's definitely something to that as well. There's
I
a lot
like
of
that,
things.
actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do to like spice that shit up. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, more about this.
If you're not engaging with them, there is no punishment. And I think that's a really critical aspect. You're not being punished. You're just missing out on a +1 bonus. And at the end of the day, how big is a +1 bonus really? But
It can be
for us,
huge.
psychologically, it feels like it's meaningful. Like, ooh, I gotta get that +1 bonus.
I will say later on at like probably level 10, maybe after that, it's not going to matter.
Well, I mean, as we discussed last time, no games last past level 10.
That is true.
So fuck it.
That is true.
As soon as you hit level 10, boop, campaign's over.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess, never mind. But yeah, no.
I think it would depend on the situation, because if you have this attack that really needs to land, like if you're say 5e, you're using like great weapon fighting, or
Yeah.
the one that boosts your damage at the cost of accuracy,
like -10, I think it is.
that can be huge.
Yes, exactly. In 4e and 5e, a +1 bonus is good. Oh yeah. No, I think honestly for the levels of 1 to 10, like it is significant. Hey, Pizza Funk, how's it going?
Hello.
All right, here we go.
And I know I'm going to be doing that as a DM. I'm incentivized now to attack in interesting ways or cast my spells in interesting ways because I want the players to fail on their saving throws. And I want my attacks to hit because I think those things
You're
are
giving
cool
it to
when they
yourself
happen.
too?
So there's no extra.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he just said that, like,
mean-
if I want my spells to hit the players, I have to get that +1 too.
Oh, okay.
He's giving it to himself?
So let's be fair. If you're applying this to if you're applying this to the PCs, like applying it to your enemies is also fair.
I suppose.
But you are quite literally
that
always
sounds weird to me.
So well, this is the thing that I have an issue with. You are quite literally always going to be describing how these things attack as the DM, unless you're getting to that point of I attack.
Yeah,
right?
and you're like specifically going out of your way to make sure that you're not doing that. So it's always going to happen.
Yeah.
So then why not just give yourself a permanent, like, just increase your chance to hit by 1 and just call it done?
Yeah, exactly. And that in that case, like, why even have it at all?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
No, I'm going to be doing that as a DM. I'm incentivized now to attack in interesting ways or cast my spells in interesting ways because I want the players to fail on their saving throws. And I want my attacks to hit because I think those things are cool when they happen. So there's no extra awards for being super flavorful. I think it's also important to make sure the players know that reasonable, that things that make sense in the world, like that is a qualifier for needing to have some of this narration, that you can't just start saying all these crazy outlandish things. Also, the idea is you share what your narration is before you roll. So you share your narration and then you roll, you get the +1, and then I would narrate the outcomes of that. So if you fail, if you miss your attack, then I would say what happened to cause you to miss that, or maybe you succeed in exactly the way that you said you would. I don't know, but
well, what happens if I narrate it? Oh, wait, no, he just said, okay, never mind.
Okay.
What if I narrate that it happens? What about that? I hit the guy. I don't attack, I hit him. Fuck you.
Yeah, this is the first video. Why not just have a -1 penalty when you don't RP combat instead? See, even that,
because that's more of a punishment.
Yeah,
he's
that's
trying
quite.
To just yeah.
He's
trying to go. He's trying to go with the carrot, not the stick.
Yes, exactly. And yeah,
regardless, I don't like it.
Had a cool description, but it has to be reasonable and grounded, make sense in the world. If you're saying all these crazy things, then we gotta rein it back in. There's an extra little bonus caveat system that I am sort of adding in as well here that you may or may not want to use. That's up to you. But if a player does something creative in the moment that makes sense based on the situation, the terrain, their enemy, all these things that isn't mechanically optimal, then I would be open to making it, flavor-wise, it's what they describe, but mechanically, it's the mechanically ideal thing. So, for example, the goblin that you're fighting is on death's door, and instead of just like swinging your sword at him again, you pick him up by like the lapel and slam him into the wall to try to kill him.
That's not very nice.
In that case, that would be like, okay, it's a shove action, and if you succeed, you deal, I don't know, like maybe 1d6 improvised damage for shoving into a wall.
Actually, no.
And that's it. That's not a mechanically optimal solution, so why would a player ever do that other than just being flavorful?
So this is already combated by describe how you killed the guy, right? Or describe how do you finish him off, like all that kind of stuff. That's already like I don't think so.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, but I want to swing from a chandelier wielding another chandelier. You could.
Fuck yeah.
You could.
I want to drink my potion of Titan strength and pick up this fucking ship's anchor and fuck him upside the face with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be so cool. Yeah, but if you're not RPing, then you're not getting bonus like everyone else. You're naturally worse than everyone else that are being more vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's...
God forbid you're just not having a good night and you don't feel like doing it.
Right, like...
Because then, again, you're not being punished, but you're still kind of being punished.
Yeah, either way, you're either being punished or you're being punished in a way. Like, there's no getting around the punishment. So... And again, I agree there should be some sort of incentive. Maybe not. Maybe okay. Oh man, I don't want it to be like inspiration, right?
Yeah.
But maybe kind of like inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the system is already there.
It is there.
Inspiration, and we still don't like it.
Right, exactly. Like
we just don't like these kind of like pointless rewards.
So it's not pointless. It's just a straight up advantage, right? Like, and like I understand it's a team based game, right? You want them to succeed and stuff, so you give them the things to succeed, and if you give them more things to succeed, you've made it easier for them to succeed. Sure, yes, that's fine.
It's already easy enough to succeed in this fucking game.
Usually, yes. So. I'm perfectly fine if you use inspiration. It's just I think it's a bit much, right?
Yeah, it's just we have a thing where it's like I don't want to play favorites.
Right, exactly. There's that, and like I would also say that if you want them to have some sort of incentive, maybe something after the combat, right? Like don't do it right in the middle of it. I feel like having it happen afterwards that is a reward for whatever they did before if they were role playing. Make it. I can't think of anything that's really good for it because I'm just thinking of like how inspiration works and how experience works. Even like if you do like the experience point thing, that's also something that I can see being something that kind of goes wrong. I don't know. Oh, good solution for what he's going for. Each round, if the majority of the party are putting in effort to RP combat the next round, everyone gets a +1 they can use where they want. Ooh, okay. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Now you're getting somewhere. Now you're getting somewhere.
Yes.
I'm more okay with it being for all.
Yeah.
Because
we're Marxists.
Exactly. Communism wins again, boys.
But wins. It never lost.
It never lost.
Wait, it's always communism? Or it was always communism? Nah, fucking never mind.
I get you.
God damn it. I love that meme.
It's the astronaut meme. I got you. So, but no, I think honestly making it a group benefit would be better. I think so.
Yes. And something that can happen as a result of someone else doing something to help.
Yeah. It becomes
because
like...
it functions similarly to the momentum system where one player gets a success and then you can take advantage of that.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So if one person is role playing, you can take advantage of that. That's
Right.
really good. I like that.
Yeah.
Who
And, like,
suggested that? Who did it?
that was Mug.
Fuck. Good job.
I also okay, so Pizza Fucks then says maybe issue an inspiration on level up, which okay, so this is the
No.
thing. This is the thing about inspiration that I also find, and this might be just me. I get that too good to use syndrome, right?
Yeah.
I might need this later. I might need this later.
Here's the thing, though. In D&D, you can only have one at a time.
I know, and I would have it forever.
Yeah.
Or I would have it forever because I don't use it, because I wouldn't use it, right? But
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I might need this healing potion later.
Exactly.
Beats the final boss.
Yes, exactly.
That's
Too
when
good.
you get to the point where it's like, fuck, I should have sold this shit.
Right? Too good to use syndrome or whatever.
Yeah.
People who really want to add more to combat constantly do, and others who just don't want to for various reasons or get tired of it still benefit. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah. I really like that idea. It's a solid idea.
Yeah, I mean, hell, we had a situation like that last week where Aiden was finally back and was able to play, but he was fucking tired after his whole ordeal. And so basically, whenever he did anything, he said, I stab him. I stab him. Stab him again.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
But that was fine because we all knew he was tired. He wasn't really in a situation to roleplay very heavily.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was fine.
Yeah. Give them cosmetics for role playing. Just make them open this loot box and get their random reward. Oh,
yeah,
God.
There we go. That's a good
I don't want to invade D&D with loot boxes. Oh, please no.
You know, it would that would actually be kind of hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because I would be like, oh man, you guys roleplayed? You get a loot box. What the fuck is in it? Well, open it up. Turns out you got like a fucking plate of pancakes, a bottle of syrup, and a few plates.
This is the other thing though, right? They could just take that and go, I'm gonna go sell this.
Well, it's not worth anything. As soon as you try to sell it to anybody, it disappears.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a magical loot box that can't be sold. Neither can the contents. And no, you can't trade them in for pay currency, you shits.
Oh, we're going full EA, are we? Okay.
Yep.
How do you give out inspiration? I've read the DMG. It didn't really help me figure out the best way of handling inspiration. I don't.
Basically, when you give it if I remember correctly, the DMG actually says that if a player ever just does something that impresses you or even makes you laugh, like the right joke at the right time, you give them an inspiration token. It's basically just advantage on any roll they want.
Yeah, they can use it at any time to get advantage. They just get a D20, and that's why I just don't.
Yeah,
I just don't use it.
And that's why we were always like, it's like playing favorites, because it's like, oh, you did something that I liked. Well, I did something cool before, and you didn't give it to me. And then like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because then it causes all kinds of problems. Obviously, if you're in a group that doesn't care about that, then you probably won't. You know, you won't have any issues with it. But yeah, we just don't really like it.
Just don't like it. It's not something that's necessary.
I prefer to give advantage on something for something that they do within the game as opposed to something that they did for me. So what I mean is, like, if they are setting it up within the game to have advantage. So say they're trying to pick a lock, and the lock is like old and rusted. It's like, okay, I want to try to pick the lock. Well, it's old and rusted. It's probably going to be pretty hard. It's like, okay, well then I'm going to pick the lock anyway. Okay, go ahead and roll. Or I want to pick the lock. It's old and rusty. Okay, I want to pour oil all over it and let it settle into the gears and shit. Okay, since you loosened it all up and it is an old lock, you know you're familiar with this model, go ahead and take an advantage.
Yeah.
It's something like that. That way, it's rewarding them for role playing as opposed to giving them something outside the game that always feels just weird.
Yeah,
to me.
Exactly.
It's a lot of breath.
Yeah, you can. It's not a loot box. It's surprise game mechanics. The greatest lie the devil ever told.
Yep.
My groups rarely give inspiration unless we ask for it. Even then, it's pulling teeth. For Pathfinder 2, you start out with 1 hero point each session, and I hand them out when something neat happens or cool. Yeah, that's right. I remember hero points also being a thing for Pathfinder, and like, I I don't know about them as much. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And at least in 7th Sea, the hero points and abilities that you use from consuming them are built into the mechanics.
Right. Yeah.
Where you can't do certain things without spending a hero point.
Yes.
Hell,
Exactly.
I have as the game master, I don't remember if there's actually a name for it, like keeper or
Captain.
whatever. Yeah, I guess it'd just be like captain. But as the game master of 7C, you also have like evil points that you can spend to make shit harder.
Hmm.
And I can only kill a player if I have 2. It's funny because the ability is specifically called murder. And I got a huge kick out of that.
What's all the junk we get from the loot boxes? A fancy hat for sure. A legendary fancy hat.
Yeah, gives +1 to
Nothing.
attractiveness. You mean charisma? No.
No. No.
What does attractiveness do? Nothing.
I want to collect all them hats like TF2. Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, it's been forever since I played TF2.
Yeah, I played it once. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I really liked Man vs. Machine, their PvE.
Oh,
that was fun.
I wanted to play that.
I played it once in college. It was great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
when I tried to play it, it was kind of, for me, it was just kind of similar to like, Counter-Strike, like the original Counter-Strike, and I was like, oh my god, everybody's so fucking good, I can't even move. So I'm just leaving.
Yeah. I feel it.
It's basically that.
So, circumstance, I would say, okay, roll a normal attack with your normal greatsword weapon damage, and roll damage as normal. It's just this cool narrative flair moment when we all know you could have just rolled your sword, but instead you wanted to do something cool. I'm not going to punish you for describing something cool. So you might want to use this system, you might not. It also leaves room for, if you want to do something like on a crit, maybe the goblin that you slammed into the wall falls prone, or just on a really cool descriptive moment, you can have something extra happen, you know. The wizard uses fireball at the stalactites on the ceiling, and maybe they fall down. Oh, I just realized way after the fact that I got stalactite right on my first guess. Haha.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Yeah, you didn't have that bit going for very long.
Yeah, really unnecessary Monty Python bit. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know what's funny? The get on with it bit was longer than the tangent.
About it. Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck? Come on, man.
Anyways, so maybe the stalactites fall down, and instead of doing fire damage, you're doing bludgeoning damage to all these creatures. Or maybe you're doing fire damage and a little bit of extra bludgeoning damage. You can reflavor some of these things. The goal is not to give the players extra tools to exploit. It's to look for cool, interesting, super cinematic, and cool moments. Maybe once, maybe twice a fight, and sort of highlight those in a really narrative and cool way, because those will become the moments that players remember and talk about this whole time. Remember when you...
I need to look at when this video was put out, because it feels like this was put out in 2000.
Oh.
Just because of, like...
Was YouTube even around in 2000?
No, it wasn't. No, it feels like he didn't know that people just like the how do you want to do this and all that. This came out in September 10th, 2020. Why does this feel so out of touch?
I don't know.
Why does okay.
Morty.
Sorry. I don't know about this. It doesn't feel so good. Anyway.
It doesn't really seem that on point.
I don't know if he's making a good point or anything. He's just anyway. You don't understand. The hat is rare and only drops during the kill 20 rats quest.
Oh,
exactly.
Nice.
But it's the secret 21st rat that has the really unique yet cursed hat. Oh man, I just keep getting the common hat. Exactly. It's just okay. So, I don't understand. Like I know many people have done this before of just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it this way, but I'm using my staff basically, or I'm using my fist basically damage, and you know, or we go, oh, you're using this steel iron fucking just rod that you found. yeah, okay, you'll do like mace damage with it or something, right? Like we put in the appropriate damage counter, or not counter, damage die for it because like it's cool.
Yeah.
It's not just like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. It's
Ugh.
so weird.
You cast fireball at the top of the cave and it collapsed on all those monsters and we killed them all. It would have been the same outcome if you just cast fireball on them and they all would have failed their saves and died anyway because they're goblins, who cares? But it was a much cooler moment when you brought the cave down on them. Like, that was really
Well,
epic,
maybe.
right?
What if we
So-
needed to go further into the
Yeah,
cave?
I was just
Mike?
about to say, what's okay? So now
Oh, you didn't get
has
that.
has that actually changed the landscape now?
You remember that? Did you
What?
forget that?
Wait,
Remember
what?
when fucking Boris brought the cave
Oh,
down when you were
that's
supposed to
right.
investigate that?
Yeah, since that's never gonna happen again, that was the lair. I don't know if I told you guys, that was the lair
Yeah,
of
no.
that Shadow Drake that you that he saw later. As
Oh, really?
yeah, that was his lair, and it was gonna be like this big fight, and if you beat him there, he wasn't gonna be a thing, but you didn't. You buried him, and he went, "I'm digging out and finding those fuckers."
Oh, cool. Okay, well, I'm glad he was at least gonna like come back and look for us. That's cool.
And that's why when he was like when oh, what was Mike's robot named? I forget. Anyway, his
ROB3
Rob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I knew
that's
it was
right.
Rob.
Robert. Yeah, when he was meeting with him, it was interesting because like I was able to exploit the fact that he would just not tell you guys.
Yep.
And so he was just following you guys around at that point, like looking for opportunities, basically.
Nice.
Oh man, it was gonna be really cool, but yeah. Anyway, I want to play an RPG that puts a focus on flavorful combat stunts. I'd play Exalted 3. It's an important aspect of the game's design. That's literally what he was referring to in this. And also, I would say Cyberpunk.
Yes, Cyberpunk specifically
Yep.
has a lot of mechanics based on doing this kind of shit.
And like what Boo was saying before, 7th Sea.
Yes.
The loot box thing does illustrate the core illustrate the core problem. Any reward that leads to power is a problem. Cosmetics are easy because it's unlimited, ultimately pointless but highly valued. Your reward to your players needs to be the same mechanically pointless but highly valued. Yeah. I think so too. There needs to be a benefit, but it needs to be a not as like egregious benefit. Or Fight 2E because it does a fantastic job mimicking fighting video games. Yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So those are the things that you'll remember and talk about as players in years to come. So that's it. That's my super simple system. Maybe we don't use this for forever. Maybe it's just something
Maybe
to
we
get us in the
never
habit of-
use this.
Right.
That just sounded really funny. I know that's not what he meant, but for fuck's sake, man.
culture,
That's my
the
system.
mindset
Maybe
of doing this
never,
again. I talked to all
ever
my
use
players
it.
about this, and they said, first off, it sounds like a super cool system. Second off, we agree. We want to be role-playing more in combat. We don't know why we haven't been. I'm like, I know why you haven't been. There hasn't been mechanical bonuses. That's why. And so now there are mechanical bonuses. There's a reason to do so. So maybe we take the system away after, it's sort of like training wheels, right? Maybe we take it away after we've gotten in the habit of it. Maybe we leave it in. I don't know. But I have used it a couple times, both as a player and as a dungeon master, and I can say, I think it works. I personally, as a player, I don't feel very pressured every single turn to come up with something, but I feel like, oh, is there something I could come up with that could maybe get the little bonus, but also it would be super cool and neat. So I'm in the mindset as a player of trying to do it. And my players also, they have sort of done the same thing. Not all of them every single turn always are doing the description, but I don't know, probably 60, 70% of the time in the first little bit that we've used this. And so I think that there is some substance to this. Hopefully this is something that is useful for you in your games. I wonder if this is the same, sort of the same problem that everybody else has about.
I will say, the video did give us ideas, at least.
Yes.
Right. I'm not going to use yours, unfortunately, because I don't think they're the greatest. And they're going to cause more, like, they just make it so that this is always going to be a thing regardless. I don't know. It's just, I do understand and would view these as training wheels for children if they were like and I'm not trying to,
I know.
right,
It
like
just
I'm not
sounds
trying to
funny.
be that way, but it's quite literally like, oh, I'm gonna
It's
tell
D&D Children Edition.
yeah, I'm gonna tell my
Yeah.
child that if they role play, then they get better, they do better, right?
Yeah.
And then they go okay, and then it, and then it'll teach them to do that, and then slowly we, like he said, take the training wheels off and go, okay, no more do better, but maybe still role play,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Fight 2E is a brilliant RPG. Somehow the designer created a system that simulates frame data in the RPG. What?
What?
That's amazing.
That's hilarious.
I love
oh my
it.
God.
Reward roleplay with increased magical item spawn rates. I don't know, man. I agree there should be a reward or something there to make people go, nice.
Ooh.
I want to roleplay all the time, but
Yeah.
I feel like, like we've said, sometimes it's fine when we get to that point of we don't roleplay in the combat because we got to get through it,
Yeah, because the role playing doesn't always the major parts where you role play are in the role playing segments.
Yes.
When you're in cities or talking to NPCs, not when
Right.
you're stabbing NPCs in the cities.
And like, again, I appreciate the flair that people give their characters when they do things. Like Brogan will do it all the time with Zeke's spellcasting, and I always appreciate it because it's really cool, right? But he's not going to do that quite literally every single. Well, he might, because sometimes it takes a while to get to his turn, and then
right.
He wants to have that moment because he's doing the spell casting. That's basically all he does because he's a wizard, right?
Yes.
But like, and so I can understand him doing it every time because it makes it so that his turn feels longer, I think, than it is. But regardless, like, you're not gonna do it every time. Most of the time, just because it's well, I feel like it's hard to just do that,
Yeah, it is, because eventually you run out of shit to say.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, finish
Lack
it out,
of flavor and role playing in the middle of combat. I'd be interested in seeing if this solution is something that could work for you at your table. So anyway, that's my narrative bonus system. I will there was a document that I read to my players to describe the problem and what I was doing to solve it. I can link that down in the description below for you to have and keep and save so you don't have to watch this whole video again just to remember how something worked.
Okay. Well, then, I closed that before, but now I gotta go back to it because I want to see this document. Because I want to see what you said. What did you say to your people? Oh, it's a Google Doc.
What did you say to your people?
What did you say to your people?
You show those other men.
We'll show those men.
You want some maggoty bread? The fuck was that, Jerry? I love that one.
It's so good. Okay. Let's see. Anything here that he didn't say? Let's just see. I'll show you guys on the stream too if there's anything that stands out to you in the moment. Swing my sword. Bonus. Grasping my holy symbol is literally what he said in the video. Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
I like it is important to note there is no punishment for not engaging in this system, except that you're objectively worse than everybody else and you'll feel it.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Anyway. Overall, not a bad video.
Yeah.
Just not a great system, I would say. Yeah, so I was hoping for something else, but
I was hoping for a fucking slam dunk and you did not give it to us.
Exactly. So boys, it is time. It is time for the middle segment, which is
the shout out and shit talking.
Yes. Well, we already do the shit talking.
Okay.
Yes, the system does sound like it will punish introverts. Absolutely, it does. That's what we were talking about, basically. So, shout out and chill talk. Let us go to the Patreon. Hey, Boo.
What?
Did you know that we have a Patreon.
We have a Patreon?
Yeah.
No. Tell me how to fucking get to it and what links I have to click to give us all of your money.
Well, if you go on patreon.com and you go into that search bar and you type in TableTalk.
I'm doing it right fucking now.
Oh my god.
Wait a minute. Okay, now what?
Okay, you have to go into the search bar and you have to click and type in TableTalk. Not Table Talk, TableTalk, all together, one word.
What the fuck is this thing? Okay.
He's getting there.
Okay.
Shit, they changed the spelling of TableTalk last time I,
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. The link is also in the description of this and every single the podcast. So hey, you join it. Well, not every single. We didn't start it until like a while in, but you know what I mean. It's in there. If you want to become a table flipper, and get your name shouted out, you can do that. So, without further ado, we did get a new one, and we will get to them when we get to their tier. Because tier 3s get shouted out first. Big shouts, of course. It is, starting off, as always, Draco Kusagi, or Draco Kraken in the chat and in our Discord. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for your tier 3. It's very cool. Then we have Slazer, also was in the chat. I don't know if he still is, but hey, thank you so much. Very much. Then, of course, we have Steely, our original patron who climbed his way up the ladder of table flipping, and he's in that tier 3. Then we have Drake Cross, the tier 2. He's still pumping them up. Hey, there's Slazer. He's in the chat. So, yeah, Drake Cross as well. That tier 2. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And then Mog Zero, tier 2 as well, has been in the chat, gave us that good idea of the +1s to all around, because everyone knows communism is the way.
Yep.
Seizing the means of production. So, thank you so much. New to the Patreon, Chris gave us that tier 1 table flipping. Thank you so much. $5 a month for that. Chris, our 8th patron, thank you so much.
Oh shit, my nurse got fucking murdered by a floating jellyfish.
Nice.
Like right in front of me. Didn't expect it.
And go to therapy. And then Frozen Spaghetti with his tier 1. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you continue to enjoy. And then last but not least, Kill Chrono. Thank you so much for that tier 1. It is you were in the chat. I don't know if you still are, but thank you.
Yes.
You all have been giving us money financially and giving us money financially.
Yeah, as opposed to giving us money like
I don't want to
automatically.
I don't want to talk about it. Okay.
Okay.
So thanks so much to all of you. It's fucking insane every time when I look at this. So yeah.
He never knows what to do.
I don't know what to do. I really don't. All I can do is say thank you. The fucking crazy people. Appreciate you so much. Anyway, that is to say as well, that is not to say that I don't appreciate every single one of you who watches and likes and comments and all of that and subscribes.
And who doesn't give us money.
Yeah, exactly.
You noticed how I
I heard your tone. I heard
emphasis,
your inflection there.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
But no, thank you so much to all of you out there.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Even the ones who don't give us money.
God damn it. Of course, now is the part of the shilling where it is, hey, you want a t-shirt with our logo on it? You want a mask? You want a mug? You want a
coaster?
Nope, no coasters in this site, unfortunately. You want a phone case? You want a sticker? You want a magnet? You want a pin? You know, all that kind of stuff. Hey, go on to TeePublic. Go search us up. You can get the logo. Hopefully we'll get more designs soon. Hoping to get that nice stimulus check in at some point and actually pay artists. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the hope. At least that's gonna be something that's coming because
Yeah.
I also had a fucking galaxy brain idea
Oh.
of how to implement some stuff. So we'll see how it goes.
As
Anyway,
long as after the implementation of that, you can still afford a Switch so that we can fucking play fucking Monster Hunter Rise.
dude,
Brogan really wants you to come along too.
don't worry. I'll hopefully be there. Anyway,
Okay.
so yeah, you can go, the link is in the description. Go get a shirt, maybe. More stuff to come soon, hopefully. All right. So that is all of that. Thank you again. Hope you does the idea involve unicorns? No, it does not. Rise is getting a PC release, yes, but that'll be another year.
Yeah, that's why we're like, fuck waiting, because we waited that long for Iceborne as well.
Yes,
Don't want to do that shit again.
Well, they don't.
Yeah.
I would be perfectly happy to, but I'll be a nice person and try to join them. Anyway, so, oh, another update as well. My PC, I called the place. They are 2 weeks behind on all of their stuff because of the bad Rona and all of that. And just, I assume just all that. But yeah. So my PC will be coming next month, maybe, hopefully.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. But hopefully that means faster rendering and all that stuff, and I can actually play video games again that like won't die. That'd be cool. But yeah, so that'll be coming, and hopefully it's all good.
Yeah.
Back in time for the next video. There you go, Mug. Hey.
Nice.
Also, you guys ought to make patches that I can add to my existing hoodies. Ooh, patches would be cool. Ooh. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do with that. Oh,
you'll see what he can do. I can't do anything.
No,
I'm gonna sit here and drink orange juice.
Yeah, good idea. Thank you. I'll add it to the merch thing. Yeah.
I don't even know you're gonna say thing.
TXT. Anyway, so for the second video we have today, I stumbled across this.
Oh.
And
careful, stumbling can be dangerous.
It is dangerous. Do you remember Stumble Upon?
No.
Okay, cool. Never mind. Let's not talk about
it. Okay.
I never used it, but I know of it. Anyway, it was a site that you literally you would just click on the button that was like Stumble, and you would get random content.
What the
basically.
Fuck was that?
That's the video. That's the intro. Yeah.
Oh, good. This sounds like such high quality.
Yeah, the audio for the intro is not great, but his first point. So this is 5 biggest problem. Sorry, I put the emphasis wrong. 5 biggest problems in D&D 5th edition. This is brought to us by Jetpack 7. And
is that the sound of his jetpack?
I guess it's just the intro thing. I don't know. But from what I remember seeing, because I watched a couple of snippets of his a couple of other videos, and they were fine. You know, they didn't seem like anything to comment on before because they didn't really like go over anything that was like
egregious.
Well, not egregious, but just like anything that was more stating something as fact when it doesn't need to be, and also just like other things. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I watched again another minute of this video, and he says a couple of things with his first point that I was like, huh?
Okay.
So we'll see. There's only 5. Well, see, we've been going over more, right? These are apparently the biggest.
Yes.
Oh, see you, Draco Kraken. But yeah, these are apparently the biggest, and I don't know. We've gone over multiple videos of it, and one day we'll get through every problem with 5e. Don't worry about it. We'll get there.
Yeah, one day maybe.
And then if we do, we'll get through ones that we make up. It'll be great. Anyway. Make sure they put a mask on that PC. Don't want it to get a virus. God damn it, pizza. That's actually pretty good. I like that one. This isn't the guy who rants in his car. No, Don't worry about that.
Oh, thank God.
No. This is somebody else.
This is just a man.
Yes, this is another man. All right, here we go.
Hello players and GMs, I am Reese, and welcome to the
Hello,
first
Reese.
video in Jetpack 7's Solving D&D series. Now let me preface by saying that I love D&D. I've played a lot of D&D, I've run a lot of D&D, and I will continue to play and run D&D probably for the rest of my life. But there are problems that I run into while I'm playing or while I'm trying to play that I still run into today. So in the Solving D&D series, we are going to take a look at what are, in my opinion, the 5 biggest problems in Dungeons and Dragons. So
Okay, I forgot that he said that this was a series. So now we have some stuff to go through at some point. This is gonna be a whole
apparently.
series of videos. Ooh.
for this very first video, we are just going to take a look at what are those 5 problems. And then in later videos, we'll take a look much deeper into those problems individually and figure out how we can solve them. Some of them have more general solutions, other ones you kind of have to just get down into the nitty-gritty and really crunch some numbers. But let's go ahead and get started by looking at what are the 5 biggest problems in D&D. Number 5, lack of rules for out of combat. As we know, Dungeons & Dragons, in all of its editions, not just in 5e, focuses largely on in-combat rules, because that's where most of it comes in. That's where you're going to be seeing most of the action in Dungeons & Dragons. It just makes sense. But if you're like me, you play with a bunch of people who really enjoy the role-playing aspect. So that means a lot of the time you find yourselves in a position where you need to be able to do out-of-combat stuff. And if you're GMing it, sometimes that can become difficult. I currently am running an urban setting, very low combat campaign, and let me tell you, it's hard. There are a lot of situations where I have found myself just kind of having to sit and think about what the ruling should be or how the NPCs would react or how certain decisions that my players make would affect the world. And even though I consider myself an experienced GM who's pretty good at rolling with the punches, there are occasionally times when I wish I had sort of a reference. I wish I had something to go off of that someone more experienced than myself had already written. For example, let's say that you're
So before we get to the for example, I agree that that there should be more rules that you can at least reference. We've gone over that before. Like they've gotten rid of so many things, like crafting. Hey, I would also say, hey, past editions exist.
Yeah.
We can look into those and get those rules. Now I know this isn't bolstering 5e, right?
Yeah.
But some of the examples that he gave were like, how does a specific NPC react to this?
Yeah, that's a
And
little
I'm
weird.
like, wait a minute. So you need a rule of how an NPC is going to react to a situation?
Yeah, that's all roleplay.
That sounds like roleplay. That sounds like you have to understand what your NPC is going to think, right?
Yeah.
Like that sounds like that. Is that Five more. Once we get 6e, we can prop up 5e as a superior edition like 4e. Yes, on number 5. Yes. So yeah, overall I agree.
Yes.
Maybe
It's kind
not
of a strange
for,
way to put that.
Yeah, maybe not for every single thing that you've said yet, but yeah. 4e has a lot of non-combat supports in its system, and crafting skill challenges similar to clocks from blades in the dark, and lots of utility powers. Sure, I'm sure it did. 5e does not.
Which is a shame.
Yep. I mean, skill challenges are something that you don't need you just make a skill challenge, right? Like, that's easy enough. You just go, if you get this, and then
You win.
You complete the challenge. Or, hey, multiple people are in the same room doing things to like search it. How are you searching it? Okay, you're gonna do this with actual search of this. Oh, you're gonna try to detect magic throughout with your like looking around and try to figure out things with that. You found some books and you're trying to decipher a cipher. Use your decipher check. Right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. And then
Use your brain. Use your
right.
pointed brain.
And like each of your things, if you do it, if you each of your successes adds to the pool, and if you all succeed enough, hey, we did it, right? You beat the skill challenge.
Yes.
Stuff like that, which is really easy to just do. I don't know. I don't know if we like. It feels more like something that was made, or that feels like something that you don't need to worry about a rule for, like, because that's something you set yourself of, like, this many successes means that you succeed, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a moderate. I guess it wouldn't be harmful to have a table that goes, if you want a moderate success level challenge skill challenge thing, then you want maybe 5 options with 3 successes, right? Or like you want a hard one, you have to get 4 of them or 5 of them, right? Like do something like that. That would be helpful, I guess, but I don't know if it's necessary.
Yeah.
Like crafting.
Yeah, I know. That's what? No.
Fucking anyway.
Who needs it?
I thought something like that was from a book already. Probably. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if 5e has anything for skill challenges. I really don't. I might have missed that. Anyway.
Your party is sneaking through the secret lair of some big bad villain. How often do they need to make checks? What kind of actions can they take while they're in there that would affect the stealth check? What exactly is the ruling on everything that's happening? Social.
So, okay, that, right? This is weird. Now we're going into really, really situational things, right? Where I go, this sounds like stuff that you should be coming up with.
Yeah.
I don't know about, like, actions that you should take in order to make your successes easier for the stealth check is something that I feel like you go, what are the PCs going to do, not what does the book say that I can have the PCs do.
Yeah,
right?
what you need to be saying is, does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Exactly, right?
That's what you need to be saying.
Right? There are things that I would like rules for in 5e, but I don't know about this one there, bud. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Encounters. When are checks even needed? Can a player just talk?
Yeah, that's the other. Okay, I'll let him finish this point, but fucking yeah.
Encounters. When are checks even needed? Can a player just talk their way through a situation without making any checks, or is there always a check required, even if the thing that they're arguing is perfectly logical and makes sense? It's kind of up in the air. And
okay, so yes, whatever you want that to be. What, like, that doesn't need a ruling.
Yeah.
If you want it to, how many checks in a certain situation is totally up to you.
Yeah.
That is not something you need the book to tell. I don't need Wizards of the Coast. I don't need fucking, I don't remember, Mike Merles himself to tell me, oh yeah, for every social encounter you should have at least 3 checks. No, I don't need that. What I don't think anyone needs that. And okay,
the
fair enough.
people on Reddit and Twitter sure do.
So, fair enough. There are some people who might need that, but I don't know about it being. I think it's more that gets covered by how are you running this encounter, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I don't think a ruling is going to give you exact specific like rules for something like that. I think there needs to be some sort of way that you like. Extrapolation of the rules themselves is something that is important as a DM. I think that this falls under that category because it's not a specific ruling. It is quite literally, again, how do you run your game?
Yeah.
You whatever you extrapolate from what you've read, that's how many skill checks they have to do, right? Like, if they even need to do skill checks at all in that situation when they're arguing something perfectly logical. If you go into that situation and go, yeah, everything they're saying makes sense, and they are really hammering this into this guy who is totally, like, would be for this. If that is going through your mind, I don't think there needs to be a check.
Yeah.
And again, I think I understand that some people need that little bit of a boost, but again, I think you can extrapolate that from, hey, this is how this works. Like, literally when it says the skill, it's very basic, I know, but the skill for persuasion and all of that, and like talking about role playing, all of that is just like, this is how this is done. And then you can extrapolate from that. Okay, if we're in a situation where we are talking a lot and they give me a good argument, then I don't need them to roll a persuasion if they quite literally spell it out for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, if they go on a 5-minute, like, talk with this NPC, I feel like they can, as long as it makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they're just saying random shit for 5 minutes to distract them or something, then, like, obviously, maybe that'll just be what that's for. I don't know. Like, it's the context matters, and what you extrapolate as a DM matters overall. And I think, honestly, a lot more people need to realize that they are smarter than they think. Like, I believe in so many people that are DMing out there that are going, I really need a rule to tell me how many checks I need in a social encounter. No, man, you don't.
Really don't.
You don't. You really don't. You are smart.
It might help a little bit, but you don't need it.
It might give you a baseline, sure. But at that point, just go to a video and ask somebody there. I know it should be in the book, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing that it's not. I'm just saying I don't know if it needs to be.
Yeah, just because it's not doesn't mean you're just completely bound
Helpless,
by it.
right? And yeah. Anyway.
Then there's Charm Person. And if you've ever run a game where a player succeeds in charming an NPC, then you know the struggle here. Charm Person has this really miraculous way of exposing all of the gray area in out-of-combat rulings, because suddenly you now have to roleplay a creature that used to be hostile or neutral to a player character as now friendly to that player character. Quick hypothetical. The party is investigating the front for a thieves guild. It's run as a business, we'll say. So they go into this business, they knock on the door, and the person who opens the door knows immediately that this is a group of individuals investigating the thieves guild. So that NPC is hostile to the party. One of the party members casts Charm Person, the person fails, so now they're friendly to the party. How do they react? Do they just let them in, or do they just politely kind of usher them away? Now they're not trying to fight them, they're just like, hey, you can't be here. So obviously,
it could go either way.
I was gonna say, how are you gonna make this person? Okay, so in that situation, personally, what I would do is go, literally the only one who is technically friends with that person is the person who casts the spell. Right? So they are more, they're nicer to the friend.
That person.
Yeah, that person. And so at that point they go, hey man, you probably, sorry, but I can't let you in if you're with them.
Yeah, I like you, and this is why I'm doing it, but you need to get out of here.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
you gotta
these
go.
Guys in here, they don't like anybody.
Yeah,
you need to get out of here, man.
You gotta go, man. Like, if you want to come in, we can talk about it, but you gotta get these guys out of here, okay?
Yeah.
Like, and like, or you could even go, all right, so I know I'm kind of going against what my boss is saying by doing this, but you guys, you gotta, like, get out of here. Just go.
Yeah.
Just all of you need to get out of here. Otherwise, you're gonna die. Right? You're just gonna die. It's just,
everybody in here is a dick. I'm not.
I'm giving you a chance, and I'm only giving your friends a chance because you're with them.
Yeah.
But you gotta go. All right? Like, with no option of it being a thing that they could get past. Or then, hey, guess what? Charm Person also gives you advantage on your persuasion checks against them. So then they go and they make their persuasion check against him, and he goes, all right, okay. I mean, I guess when you put it that way, okay, yeah, go around back. I'll let you in there, okay? So that they don't see you.
Just be quiet.
You got, right? Or they fail it and they go, nah, man, sorry. You just gotta go. You just gotta get out of here. I'm sorry. Like, I can't do. My hands are tied. My hands are literally tied. It might look like my hands are not tied in front
But
of
they
you,
are actually, in
but
fact, tied.
they are so tight. So
Like, I can't even fucking move them, man.
right, exactly. So this is quite literally something that you now have the ability to go with at your, like, it's not the end of the world that this hostile NPC is now friendly. You
For a time.
you can figure that out. Oh yeah, and after that hour goes up,
yeah, after that, they're fucking pissed.
they're pissed, right? They know what you did. So you are now able to use that as the incentive of all this.
Yeah,
but-
and now, not only were they investigating, you were investigating them before, and they had no idea. Now they fucking know,
they
and they're
super
mad.
Yeah, the only way they don't know is that the guy is dead, right?
Yeah.
But regardless, it's just
Easy.
you don't need a rule for this.
Yeah,
Like,
this is easy.
quite
This is
literally.
easy shit.
However you're gonna play it, hell, you might even play it that they're super friendly now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it might just be a total 180, right? Because
Yeah.
that's how you want it to be. Like, it doesn't need a rule. You just look at what the spell says.
Yeah.
And
That is
then
the
you-
rule.
Then you think about the NPC, and then you go, this is how they act now. I don't know. It's so weird. Okay. They got rid of anything skill challenge related for 5e. Did they? Oh man. I know people still use them because they're fun. Ask Google, chances are you'll find a suggestion, or Reddit. That's true. I think the phrase "why are you stifling your own creativity" is an apt phrase here. Oh man,
Yeah,
that's
like,
true.
oh my god.
If only Aiden was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you charm the rogue, that's how they act, right? Yeah. It would be fun
Yeah.
to watch 5e players that have played 5e play AD&D 2e, a game that was not built around skills.
We did.
So AD&D is better in skills, I would say. It's
Yeah.
got more skills, actually, more focus
Yes.
on skills. But yeah, it would be interesting. And we
And
did
I mean,
watch.
and hell, we're playing 3.5 right now,
Yeah, sure.
which has a lot more skills than 5e.
Though most of us started with 3.5, so we're all.
I
set with
actually
it.
started with 4 and then
Yeah,
5.
yeah. That's why I said most, because all the rest of us started with
Aye.
3.5.
Yeah.
But
Oh, fucking
we did
werewolves.
watch that girl I think who was only into 5e before play AD&D.
Yeah, and then
That's-
she got into AD&D for the wrong reasons, basically.
She said that yeah, it's more for dungeon crawls and you can't really roleplay and all that shit because her dad sucked as a DM.
Sorry, girl's dad and girl.
Don't worry, they'll never watch this. And if they do, hey, how's it
Hello.
going?
Yeah, that sucks. Sorry. As a DM, not actually.
Not as
you
a
know what I
person.
mean. Yes.
So yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Rogues had pick locks as a skill. That's true. They did.
Damn it! Fucking Christ! These fucking mummies. Every time. Sorry. Go on.
There is a lot of gray area in out-of-combat situations that, for me as a GM, get pretty difficult to operate sometimes. Number 4.
Sure.
Item
So again, I agree. There are times where it does get hard to rule things. I agree with that, but some of them are just hard because you have to think about it for a little bit, you know?
Yep.
I don't know.
costs and economy. This is the one that I have struggled with the absolute most. If I had to pick one problem that is my biggest issue as a GM, then this is definitively it. If you are running a campaign where the adventurers are just running around in the woods and living the freest lifestyle ever, then this kind of stuff does come into account pretty regularly. What is the cost of living in D&D? How much are you paying?
The book
to have a
tells
house?
you.
How much are you paying to stay in an inn every night for?
Yeah, I was gonna say
The book flat out tells you
it
this.
flat out has comforts of
Comfort level.
4 to extravagant, like quite literally. There,
sorry.
in the
This
PHB,
this
like,
one doesn't work.
So I agree for some things, right? Because the book doesn't
Yeah.
have every item listed as priced, like magical items and
Yeah.
all that, right? And the
But
economy.
the book Yeah.
The economy
The
itself is a
economy,
little
yes.
fucked, right?
Yes.
Everyone knows that gold is weird in D&D.
Hell, I had trouble with that in our campaign. I don't know how much money to fucking give you guys.
Right, exactly. So, like, I agree that there is some issue here, but for the cost of living, for 5e specifically, it's right there.
Yeah, it is literally right there in the
Hell,
book.
3.5 also has it. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. If anyone was gonna have it, it's gonna be 3.5.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, read your player's handbook? It's been a while since I said that.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had to say that. Holy shit.
Food, for drinks. There is so many things that just don't get covered or are very briefly mentioned in the DM screen or something like that.
So you have looked at it.
Okay.
So then you do know that they're there.
So, okay, then here's my question. Alejo.
Hello.
Having obviously read your player's handbook. Having obviously read your player's handbook and knowing that there is that section in the book that just tells you the cost of living and shit, what else would you like added to that? Like maybe average days wages for certain kinds of workers?
So,
that could be useful.
So you can extrapolate a little bit from that actually, because there are hirelings and stuff in that.
That's true.
So you can kind of figure out a kind of cost of living. I mean, there's also the cabs basically. Like a
cabs?
a coach that's in a city.
Stagecoach.
Right. There's a coach that's in a city, and then there's a coach that's across. I think there's also a coach that's across like different cities.
The land.
Continental. Cross continental. There you go.
Trains.
Train. But other than that, I mean, I guess maybe a base cost for like some innocuous things, just to have more things in there to do in a town. Like
like tennis matches, like entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. Like a gladiatorial arena. If they had
a fucking megaphone. I found a megaphone.
Nice.
It's immunity to silence. I get it.
That makes sense.
Anyway.
But yeah, quite literally, like maybe a gladiatorial arena's like thing to like a ticket cost, right? Like for certain things, entertainment in general. I guess.
I know that it's kind of it comes up a lot in D&D games. Okay, brothels.
Right? No, that's fair. So. And like
I'm asking for a friend.
So like I the other thing though that I think is that stuff doesn't seem too hard to price because it's again more innocuous. Like I would say a gladiatorial match, like getting a seat would be a silver piece. Getting a good seat would be a gold piece. Right? Because you gotta remember that the gold and silver and everything is for regular people. These costs are for regular people, not for adventurers. And I know it's hard to make them spend this shit when it's not for adventurers, but that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have, you could buy the whole stadium out as an adventurer, right? Like you could
be fucking sweet,
right? Like you could do that if you wanted to. But it's just like I don't think it matters necessarily to be in there. I don't know. The only other things that I would say are like goods, like things that people actually will buy, and in that case they're in there. Right? There's a lot of them in there. There's not everything, I'll give you that, but there's a good majority for general goods and like arcane stuff a little bit, like the foci and the pouches and staves and stuff. Excuse me. Like that's a thing. But what else do I really need? What else can't I just make up? They need a parking tax or perhaps an illegal parking fine. Excuse me.
Like if you park your horse in the wrong place.
Yeah, exactly right. They even have costs of animals that you could buy to ride. Like the only things that aren't really there are things for like regular folk that are gonna start a farm, I guess, right? Like they don't have costs of pigs. They don't have costs of like individual meals. They have costs of general stuff of like, but that it falls under. You just figure out what the quality is and then you pay that.
Yeah.
And again, I understand there's a problem with it as well because it's not built for adventurers. It's not. But that's the way the world is.
About that.
Right? Yeah. Like the only problem is trying to spend the money. The problem here is there's no magic item costs, really.
Yes.
No specific magic item cost. There's the table that has the two values that things are between.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's it. That's not enough.
Yes. We need more things that adventurers would buy, I guess, is what I would add in. Like actual big ticket items.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Point number 4, he's still going through it, is items in the economy are a problem, which I agree. But not for the same reason so far.
And if you aren't able to keep it consistent, then it can cause some problems because
that's true.
Then you get into the problem of items, specifically magic items. 5e has all these awesome magic items that are conveniently laid out into these awesome tables, but there is not a single price given. Now there is this one small chart in the DMG that gives you a wide range of prices based on the item's rarity.
Totally
Let's
agree
just
with
talk
this.
about this chart for a second. So to start off, each of the items are separated into either common, uncommon, rare, very rare, or legendary. Common items range anywhere from 50 to 100 gold, which is pretty reasonable. That's something that we can actually wrap our head around. That's anything from a first level spell scroll to a potion of healing. Uncommon items range anywhere from 100 to 500 gold, which is still relatively reasonable. That's anything from a bag of holding to a javelin of lightning. Now this is where it starts to get a little bit looser. Rare items can range anywhere from 500 gold to 5,000 gold.
Yeah,
so there's a 4,500 gold difference between items that are, for some reason, ranked at the same level of rarity. So you're supposed to be able to just look at this and figure out where they fit in that 4,500 gold range. And it doesn't get any better at very rare, which range from 5,000 gold to 50,000 gold. So now we've got a 45,000 gold range. Again, all of those items listed at the exact same rarity. And then legendary items make sure to keep things very loose, with items ranging anywhere from 50,000 gold to infinity, I guess. Then we get into crafting new items, selling the items to vendors in the game. Does anyone actually have that much gold other than the adventurers? It's all a crapshoot, and I think that is one part of the game that is definitely lacking in a little bit of clarity. Number 3.
No issue whatsoever when he starts talking about magic items.
Yeah.
No issue
because
whatsoever.
That's kind of like a well-known problem.
Yeah, that's the biggest, I would say that is the biggest problem. His thing before about pricing for meals, not a problem. No, not at all.
Yeah.
Like, when there's a table for it, quite literally.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, give me my castle when I hit 9th level. I need something to spend my money on. Exactly, right? Like, it's a big thing. Like, that would be fucking nice to have.
What the fuck is that thing?
The cost of magic items is the biggest problem in the game. Yes, agreed. Okay, now vague rules. Oh no. Okay.
Oh no.
Vague
rules.
This is
a vague
Now
point.
I think this one can be considered also a good thing about 5th edition,
Okay.
but it can also cause a good number of problems. So 5th edition is very DM reliant. What that means is that it relies heavily on the GM to make the calls and decide how things should be ruled in that moment. And for some people, that might be an awesome thing. That might be exactly what they want. A lot of people really want to just be able to run the game how they want to run the game, not being too beholden to a specific rule set. However, some people want to play in a game that is very beholden to a rule set because it makes it feel more consistent, makes it feel more fair. No matter how good of a GM they are, people are going to make mistakes. And when you're making up a ruling on the spot, it's going to interfere with a bit of consistency and it's going to be difficult to maintain.
It can. It
what?
Can do that. It can make it harder to stay consistent. Sure. Can. It's not going to. Hey, Steely.
Hello.
Like, okay. So, let's... Now, how How is this the biggest problem when it doesn't affect some people?
Yeah.
I would think a problem extends to all, right? So I know for a fact, yes, 5e is very vague. Sure. That's fair enough, and it does allow a lot of freedom for your DMs if they, want to do things. That's fine. I don't think that it means that it's hard to stay consistent. That doesn't correlate with me at all, because you then go, my ruling is my ruling that I just made. And then that's consistently the ruling that I will use. If it maybe, I don't know, conflicts with something else, conflicts, excuse me, I don't know how I said it like that. If it conflicts with another rule that you made, then you just change it a little bit and make it so that that's now the consistency. I understand that it's not going to remain consistent because of that. Okay, that's unfortunate for a little while, but I feel like we can still make it work easily.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with the idea of vague rules. 5e is very vague to me. It's one of the main things I despise about 5e. BRB gotta walk the dog. Okay. So that's fine. If you don't like how vague it is, fair enough. Absolutely. Yeah. That's totally fair not to like it. I don't think it's the biggest problem.
Yeah, it's not. There are significantly bigger problems with 5e than it just being vague.
Considering that a lot of people can just, they don't even acknowledge this as a problem. And I'm not trying to appeal to majority over minority in this case. I'm not trying to, but there is something to say about the fact that most people just go, hey, this is the ruling, this is going to be it, and we're good. We just move on, right? I have to think about it maybe for a minute or two, but we're good after that.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah.
5e's strength is that it's good for on-the-fly ruling. It sucks if you desire that rule's consistency. It's only a problem for people who don't like that style of play. So, again, I don't think it's like, the consistency there is created by you. I don't see how, what are we talking about here with the rules consistency? I guess I'm just not understanding it. What do you mean when you mean rules consistency? Do you mean that everything in the book needs to be spelled out so that we now know exactly how the system is going to do every single situation? Because I don't agree if that's the case, and I'm not saying that that's what you're saying. I don't understand what we're talking about here. I need this defined, please.
Yeah.
I'm trying real hard because it doesn't seem like it's gonna be a problem if I don't, because I don't, I guess, understand it.
That throughout the game. One of the simplest examples is one of the most core aspects of 5th edition, advantage and disadvantage. When are they justified? The DMG basically just says whenever you want, and it gives you a couple examples of hypothetical situations that it might be justified in, but there's also the idea of lowering the DC, which is also something that you just kind of determine in your head as you go. And then there are a couple rules that are written in the book, but frankly just don't give specifics. Blind sight is one of those. It essentially just says that a creature with blind sight can sense other creatures without the use of their sight. So are they using sonar, or do they just have a...
Okay, well, okay, come on.
Really?
With that? Okay, so before that...
Come on now.
Okay, so before this, God, that is, now taken over my mind. I know, I need to address this first.
Yeah, that's real dumb.
What the fuck do you mean? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry, but, what? Look at the monster. Maybe, I don't know. Think about it for a second. Make it up. Does it matter how the blind sight works? Does it really matter?
Yes.
If it does, okay, let's, figure it out.
Let's get to work on it.
Right, let's figure it out.
You absolutely don't need to.
Right, that is not a problem.
Yeah, it's really not.
Blind sight is quite literally, hey, I'm blind. I can
sense you.
Right, I sense you there within a certain range. I see you, basically. That's what it means. That's all it means. Okay, cool. You're immune
no.
to certain things that make you blind and stuff, right? Like that's how it works. Or not immune,
Like, it's
but
a lot of the things that, like, okay, then let me ask you this. What would you prefer? Kind of obviously explainable blind sight, or running an enemy that's literally completely blind and can do nothing?
right. Like I
I
don't
want to send you guys to the Underdark. Okay, all the enemies there are blind. You just walk through and stab everything as you go.
like I don't even know if that's like it's so weird.
Yeah, this is a non-issue on so many levels.
Okay, and so before that, he's talking about advantage and disadvantage and how you determine DCs and stuff. So for that, I go, okay, so it gives you some examples, which then you can extrapolate from. You get the general sense of how advantage and disadvantage works, which then leads you to go, hey, I'm going to give you advantage for this, or hey, I'm going to give you disadvantage for this. And it might, I guess, yeah, in that case, it can be inconsistent. Okay, sure. That's fine, though, sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes sometimes that shit happens.
Like, sometimes you'll get the people that go, oh, shit, why did he get advantage here? And you go, well, and then you have to think about it, right? And then sometimes when they call you out for it, you go, maybe you don't get advantage, or maybe you don't get disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
I think it gives you some leeway for you to then interact with your players to get to know the situation a bit better and more from their perspective, and maybe even have that challenge so that you understand how to make it more realistic or something, right?
Yeah.
I think that's good, but then again, that is personal. With adjusting DCs, that's as simple as what did they take preventatively or reactively in order to make this better, right? I that doesn't seem to be too hard. And again, I don't like in 3.5. Yes, it was like, hey, if you get like a 20 on your diplomacy against this NPC, it'll make them like you a little bit more, and so that little meter goes a little bit more towards the I like you side, and then it makes things a little easier for you, right? You got that in there, but I don't think that's necessary. I really don't. Like having a literal meter. 3.5 is it has a lot of things in it, and I appreciate them, but some things, yes, can be taken out, and you don't need to worry about them. Just like how 5e, there's not a lot in there, but you can take some of the shit out of there. Like, just like any system. You just pick and choose. Just, anyway. Okay. For me, the language and grammar of how 5e rules are written is vague. That's fair, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's the point. I think that's the point of it. I think some of the problems with the vagueness of 5e might be because it's assumed you have real life reference. Blindsight, maybe watch Daredevil. Sure. This is the thing. I don't think so. Even like, you don't need to look at something else in order to understand D&D. I really don't think so. I don't think that is necessary at all. I think it's so easy for you to go
excuse me,
blessings. It's so easy for you to go, hey, this enemy that I have that has blind sight is flying and does not land. It must have some sort of sonar, or it feels vibrations somehow in the air, like any of that kind of thing. Or hey, this monster is on the ground all the time. It in fact digs and it has blind sight. Oh, then it uses vibrations, right?
Yes.
Like you can extrapolate again on how these things work. I'm gonna find a monster now. Hold up.
Okay.
Good night, Pizza Funk.
Get out of here, big bastard. No, I'm just
blind sight monsters 5e. Why did this open up a preference for my searches?
That's weird.
Okay, I just want to Okay, weird. 5e monster blind sight. See that? Okay, they didn't do it that time. Category blind sight, sure. That'll work. Jesus, that didn't give me anything. Cool. What's this? Without looking, bats and dark mantle. Okay, I'll look at a dark mantle. Dark mantle. 5e. Yes. Dark mantle. Okay.
It
See if
was
it has
really Underdark.
Yeah, let's see if it has a description at all. Oh no, it even says echolocation.
There you go.
Can't use its blind sight when deafened because it uses echolocation. Okay, well this one literally tells you. Let's see if we can find one that doesn't. I guess to try to steel man him a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. A list of creatures with blind sight with a link that actually gives me this. Yes, abyssal chickens. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Nice.
Animated armor makes sense because it is an animated thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't
doesn't
have any fucking eyes.
Yeah. Let me click on it real quick. Does it say anything? It just says
I imagine golems too, because they can't
Yep.
see either.
Some of them can.
None of them can.
Okay. Yeah, it says blind sight 60 feet blind beyond this radius. So, I'm sorry, with an animated armor,
I would say since it's animated by magical power, so the magic gives it the ability to sense what's around it.
Exactly.
In a small radius.
Right? You're able to
this is not hard, dude.
You quite literally yeah. Okay, let's see if we can let's get another one. Fucking Bargeist. I can't look at it because it's locked behind Volos. Thank you. Black Pudding. There we go.
Yeah,
Also,
they can't see.
They can't see. How the fuck do they know things? Oh, they can feel the vibrations in the ground, or the vibrations of the air moving from flying things, or
yes,
because
they're watery.
Yeah, like, or I don't know. Just like we can come up with reasons here. We don't need.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. This is going on too long. It's so crazy to me. Okay. Even crunchy systems don't have rules for absolutely everything. The GM always has to make some calls. Otherwise, it's playing a computer game where you can only do things for which rules exist. Yeah, exactly. It's completely different in that case, right? This is a pedantic example, I agree. A better example are things like the kerfuffle around the Shield Master feat, where Crawford said you can only use the bonus shove after making your attacks. Oh, okay. Let's look at that. Look at what it says in the book.
Okay.
Because that's a good example, if so. Bop, bop, bop. And again, I agree there's some vagueness that could be an issue, but overall, I don't know.
Is that a kitten that rides around on a fucking stick of dynamite?
That's weird. Hope so.
It is.
Let's see. So it's Shield Master. You use shields not just for protection, but also for offense. This is on page 170 of your player's handbook, by the way. You gain the following benefits when you're wielding a shield. If you take the attack action on your turn, you can use a bonus action to try to shove a creature within 5 feet of you with your shield. I assume this is before they reprinted it, because it literally says that verbatim. So, is there a problem there?
I would assume so.
If you aren't incapacitated, you can add your shield's AC bonus to any dexterity saving throw. Subjective. Yeah, it's literally there in my player's handbook. So I don't know if that was just because beforehand it wasn't printed that way, but my printing says so. So
okay.
Anyway, it's like how a lot of class abilities are phrased. Name of ability. When taking a standard action, you may, if you want to, do insert ability mechanics. You can do this once per short, long rest. So, what's the issue there?
Yeah, what's the issue with that? Exactly. How does that relate?
You give... So, I understand... What you're saying is the vagueness is something that bugs you. So in that case, it's vague because it's allowing you to, anytime you take that action, once per short or long rest, you can use the ability. That's all that
Yeah.
means. That's not hard to
Yeah, that's
understand.
is that vague?
I don't think so. I don't think it's vague at all.
Yeah.
So, it's the phrasing of "you may if you want to" that annoys me. It's pervasive through the game's rules. So,
Oh. I mean, I guess,
not-
but like
it's not an
you
issue.
just I don't really see that as an issue. It's just the way they word it is just a way. It's just, to me, it's just a diplomatic way of telling you that when you choose to use this action, you do that.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah. Because I mean, let's be honest. If you choose to use an ability, you're not going to maybe do that. You're going to do it.
Right.
So
yeah.
who cares how it's written?
I mean,
at least in that context.
let me read you. Let me read you a thing from a race that might. Yeah.
Plus,
So
I think it's another way of them saying that you don't have to do something.
yeah, you
Because
don't
if you
have
have
to
an
use it.
ability that says you do this,
Mhm.
then there's no wiggle room at all.
Because quite literally, if I look at Dragonborns and then I look at their breath weapon, it says, or breath weapon, you can use your action to exhale destructive energy.
Yes.
Your draconic ancestry determines the size, shape, and damage type of the exhalation. So this literally says, anytime you want to use this as an action, you can.
You can do that.
But, and then it goes into how many times you can use it, short or long rest later, at the very end. This isn't vague. This is just giving you an option, right? I would need something. Give me the worst one that you can find, I guess, because then that would be my reference, I guess. Because the way that I read them, they just say.
It doesn't make sense to us, I guess.
It doesn't make sense that would be vague because it literally is just saying you can do something, like you have the ability to. Nice. The confusing
I didn't
part...
mean that sarcastically, by the way.
No, exactly. I'm genuinely interested. The confusing part about Shield Master is that a lot of people assumed you could shove before you make your weapon attacks. Crawford said you shouldn't be able to do it until after all of your attacks. Oh, okay. Let me look at the wording again, because I must have missed that. Where the fuck is Feats there? So it doesn't strike me that that's vague because it says if you take the attack action on your turn, you can use a bonus action to try to shove a creature within 5 feet of you with your shield. Reading that, it says to me, if you take an attack action, which means you use your action to use the attack action, which goes through all of your attacks already, right? Your extra attacks are added to your attack action, right? If you use that on your turn, you can use a bonus action to try to shove a creature within 5 feet of you with your shield. So then, after your action is done, you use the bonus action to do the shove if you want to. That seems clear to me. I don't know. Because it isn't, you aren't making an attack, you are taking the attack action, right?
Yes.
So, a lot of people took the feat to knock down foes and get advantage while they're prone, so people got mad at the ruling. Well, that's because they didn't read.
That's not the ruling's fault.
Yeah. And the thing is, it doesn't say anything either way. It could be interpreted either way. If anything, its openness implies there's no hard ruling on when you can use the shove. I don't agree. I don't agree because of the way that it... Like, if you look at actions, if you look at attack action, that is what it is. I care about grammar being properly used, but I have Asperger's, so clear usage of words are used and presented matter. So that's grammatically correct, though, what I read. You can use it.
Yeah.
To me, saying you may implies you may not, and to me, it's now up to the DM to allow me if I can or can't do it. No, it's not talking to the DM. It's talking to the player.
Yeah, it's talking to the player.
Yeah,
It's giving you the freedom to choose.
Yeah, you have the choice. So, because like, I would need to see an example because may, I don't know if that's even. Maybe are there actually, now that I think about it, I think there are a couple of times where may has come into play, but I don't remember them being egregious. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Hi, Bramble. We read your thing. It was cool. We liked it.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah, I'm seeing you can. Again, same thing. It's, I don't know. May and can are both very similar words in this context, so I don't see them being an issue. Have you all enjoyed the questionnaire? Yeah, dude, it's really cool.
Yes, it's very nice.
You'll have to go see what we said about it exactly. Yeah. But with attacks, you can do other bonus actions between attacks. No, you can't. That's not part of the rules at all, actually.
Yeah, no.
So if I'm a paladin, okay, so Channel Divinity isn't a bonus action. Channel Divinity is its own thing, because you say, but with attacks, you can do other bonus actions between attacks. If I'm a paladin and I attack, I can use my bonus action to use Channel Divinity between my two attacks. Channel Divinity is not a bonus action. I do not believe. I might be wrong, and I will check myself.
He'll check himself.
I will check myself. Now we're... This is
now
what
we're
I wanted.
discussing and discording.
This is what I
something.
wanted. So...
Where did I put those fucking things? I could have sworn I had this. Maybe I didn't.
So it says, Channel Divinity. Your oath allows you to channel divine energy to fuel magical effects. Each Channel Divinity option provided by your oath explains how to use it. When you use your Channel Divinity, you choose the option to use. You must then finish a short or long rest to use your Channel Divinity again. Some require blah. Let's go to an oath.
Some require blah?
Some require blah. Here we go. These say as an action, as an action. Let's continue. I'm looking at Oath of Devotion on page 86. So those say as an action. After that, we have Channel Divinity here with 87. You can use your Channel Divinity to invoke primeval forces to ensnare a foe as an action. You can use your Channel Divinity to utter ancient words as an action. Oath of Vengeance later continues into 88 as an action. Here we go. Vow of Enmity. As a bonus action, you can utter a vow of enmity against a creature you can see within 10 feet of you, using your Channel Divinity. You gain advantage on attack rolls against the creature for 1 minute, or until it drops to 0 hit points or falls unconscious. So, this one doesn't have a restriction to you doing it after an attack, or sorry, after an action. A bonus action can be used at any point unless, of course, the thing that you're using for the bonus action literally says you can't do it until after an attack action, like what Shieldmaster says. This one says, just as a bonus action, you can do it. But that's the thing. People seem to think that you are allowed to do whatever between an attack action. No. That's not how... You go through the entire attack action, and then you can use another action, bonus action, or thing, right?
Yes.
For some... I know there are some things that allow you to... There's nothing that gives you a free action anymore. So there's nothing that you can do that just is in between. Bonus actions are a completely separate thing to attacks. Attack actions, excuse me. So it's just, this is literally just how the rules are. That's the only issue that people have with it, that they didn't read the rules. Or at least didn't understand them. Anyway. So if that does that make more sense? I think you can move in between attacks, or maybe that's just how my group does it. Yes! Oh, you can move between attacks. Moving is fine. Moving is totally different for some reason. I don't know why, but it is. See vagueness. What? with one thing, okay? I'll look for the moving thing. We're going through it.
Yeah.
This is necessary now.
Yes.
Because if it doesn't say anything about movement in the sense of like you can't do this between, then I've been doing it wrong forever. In which case I'll happily admit that I was wrong about that. But for the bonus actions and stuff, that shit's crystal clear. Movement. 181 to 183. 181. I've always run it as people can do whatever between attacks as long as they take no other regular actions. I don't think there's any stipulations about not being able to take bonus actions. So how you run it, that's fine. You run it however you want to. That's different. Literally, when you take your action is the continuous thing for that thing, right? The attack action is what you're taking when you attack. So you are quite literally committing to your full attack action in order to use your attacks, right? So sneaking in a bonus action in the middle and then doing the rest of your action, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's not how you do it.
That's not how that works. But
again, if you run it that way, and
if you run it that way, it's totally fine.
But
Absolutely.
At least rules as written, that's not how it's.
Yeah, and the fact that people, I don't know how they're getting this. This is where Pathfinder 2E's 3-action economy is better. I agree. Oh, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a million times better. Absolutely. But these issues seem to be more with the fact that people don't understand how the rules work. Rather than the rules being bad or vague. So let me find specifically actions as well, and then we'll get to movement. If there is a way for me to find specifically actions, because I don't remember where it is. So let's look in the index. Action 189. There we go. It was after movement. Okay, so we'll go to movement first. Let me just mark this for me. There we are. Okay. So. It even says in here. Here we go. Your turn. On your turn, you can move a distance up to your speed and take one action. You decide whether to move first or take your action first. Your speed, sometimes called your walking speed, is noted on your character sheet. The most common actions you can take are described in the actions and combat section later in this chapter. You can forego everything if you want and take dodge or readied. Bonus actions. You take only one bonus action on your turn, so you must choose which bonus action to use. You choose when to take a bonus action during your turn, unless the bonus... Here we go. This is something that's very important. You choose when to take a bonus action during your turn, unless the bonus action's timing is specified, and anything that deprives you of your ability to take actions also prevents you from taking bonus actions. And I would say Shield Mastered is very specified because if we go later in the chapter, actions in combat. When you take your action on your turn, you can take one of the actions presented here. An action you gain from your class or a special feature, or an action that you improvise. Many monsters have action options. When you describe an action not detailed elsewhere in the rules, the DM tells you whether that action is possible and what kind of roll you need to make, if any, to determine success or failure. So these are the actions that you take. Attack, cast a spell, dash, disengage, dodge, help, hide, ready, search, use an object. These are the ones listed, of course. There might be more, of course. But attack is... the most common action to take in combat is the attack action. Whether you are swinging a sword, firing an arrow from a bow, or brawling with your fists. With this action, you make it one melee or ranged attack. See the making an attack section for the rules. Certain features, such as the extra attack feature of the fighter, allow you to make more than one attack with this action. That's 192. Making an attack. So, it says, for making an attack specifically as well, because this is also important, you choose a target, you determine the modifiers, and then you resolve the attack. That's your whole attack action. Right? And so if you are taking the attack action, like splitting, you can split the attacks between multiple things, but it doesn't say that you can use it between the attack action. And it doesn't say you can't as well, fair enough, but I wouldn't ever think that you can just use another action type in the middle of an action, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the
Like,
only
once
thing.
the action has been completed,
Then you can
then
use...
you can.
Yeah, then you can use the bonus.
Unless there's some other outside factor that allows you to do it. Normally, I would say no.
Exactly. Now movement in between attacks is
a whole different beast.
Is completely... I don't see it being a thing that you can actually technically do in 5e. Because as far as what I've said, it says you can either move... you can use a movement and an action or a bonus action, and it doesn't say you can do it between. So yeah, technically we've been playing it not rules as written for a long while. At least I have. So
you filthy cheater.
I'm a filthy animal. But honestly, with that one it makes more sense technically, because why the fuck wouldn't I be able to cut a guy and then move over to cut another guy, right? Breaking up your movement. See, there you go. Thank you. Breaking up your movement. Okay, where is that? Movement. It's not under
Remember when
movement.
we were talking about a video?
Nope.
Me neither.
No, it's good. It's good that this is...
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Right? Like, hold up. Moving around other creatures. Oh, wait. Movement and position. Breaking up your move. Here we go. You can break up your movement on your turn using some of your speed before and after your action. There you go. For example, if you have a speed of 30, you can move 10 feet, take your action, and then move 20 feet. Okay, so we have been doing it fine. There you go. Moving between attacks. Here we go. If you take an action that includes more than one weapon attack, you can break up your movement even further by moving between those attacks. For example, a fighter can make 2 attacks with the extra attack feature, and who has a speed of 25 feet could move 10 feet, make an attack, move 15 feet, and then attack again. There you go. So, that is specifically stated. So this is the thing. This also sets the precedent of if it's not specifically stated, then why would you be able to do it in certain cases, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mog. So going back here, I've always run it so people can do... Right, you said that. Rabbit hole. I'll happily eat crow if I'm wrong, but I've never ruled it that you have to make all attacks before taking a bonus action. That's fair. That's fine.
Yeah,
if you don't do that, that's fine. Because the rules are vague. No, see, the rules aren't vague. They're quite concise. I'll say that they aren't all where... I mean, no, they're all pretty much where they need to be. This is all in combat, so...
Yeah,
anyway.
Don't worry. This isn't Pathfinder.
Yeah. Yeah, formatting's fine. This is the problem, though. It's just not clear. You think it's pretty hard, but I think it's pretty vague. There's nothing to point to nothing to point to that specifies it. Right, but that's why I'm saying the precedent is already set. Because they've said beforehand of, like, how bonus actions work. Quite literally, You choose when to take a bonus action during your turn unless the bonus action's timing is specified, and anything that deprives you of your ability to take actions also prevents you from taking bonus actions. Which I guess, if you're gonna take that as an interpretation of you can use your bonus action whenever, I would say that's not a good way to take it. I don't think that's a good faith way to take it. Not good faith, sorry. Just, like, I don't know, that extrapolation seems far out of the realm of possibility here. Because again, on your turn, you take the move, you take one action, and since attack is the full action, then you're taking the full attack action. And it doesn't say that you can do, like, quite literally they specify you can move between your attack action. They specify that. And if you could do it with bonus actions, then they can they would specify that, right? If they're going to specify movement, why wouldn't they specify bonus actions? Right? Anyway. There's nothing wrong with playing the way you want, but it makes it inconsistent when discussing it between tables, players, and GMs. Again,
Absolutely.
the only inconsistency, of course, that for hard rules is just how people interpret them for some reason. Because again, I think that it's not being read the way that it's written. Because I'm not trying to extrapolate this in any other way than what it says here. As far as, I mean, it just makes sense to me. I think the combat chapter is probably the most clear to understand chapter because combat is the most important part of the rules. Bro, you still gotta give me a ruling that has, like, the worst vagueness for you. You gotta give me one. Because I can't just, like, you can keep saying this all you want, but I need you to provide the burden of proof. That's all I need. Because then I can figure out if I agree with you or not. I think the intention is what you're saying, but the wording is bad. I highly disagree, but that's fine. The DMG is a hot mess. The DMG for 5e, we say read your player's handbook. We don't say read the DMG.
Yeah, you don't really need to.
You don't need to. There's there's not much in there that's actually necessary if you like at all. I'm not saying it's a hot mess. I'm just saying you don't need it.
You don't really need it.
Yeah. I've never played 5e, so I will say that looking at it from the outside, the rules read so far in the stream do not seem in any way ambiguous. Right.
Yeah.
I can't provide you any proof due to how each of us interprets language differently. No. So, this is the thing. If you give me your vague, this doesn't, okay.
Yeah, tell us a rule that you find vague.
Tell us the most vague thing in the book that you find, and then I will deconstruct it so that and see if I would also find it vague or not. It doesn't mean that we can't do it because I interpret the language differently. No, I should be able to also interpret it the same way that you are. That's the way that it works. Except this game has inspiration and no way of telling you how to give it out. No. Okay.
No, we already did.
All right. Well, it tells you how to give.
Yeah, it does.
It gives you those examples. It doesn't.
The
it's
stupid
not
examples.
It's not good. I'll give you that. But it does tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
And I'll read it. And hell, this might actually be where I'm wrong, because I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong about this.
Because we never give it out. We never use it.
Yeah, because we don't look at it enough. G H and then I. I, like, while I was looking for it, almost forgot what the word was. That's how much I don't fucking use it.
Yeah, that's how little we give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Usually.
Okay, here we go. Gaining inspiration. Your DM can choose to give you inspiration for a variety of reasons. Typically, DMs award it when you play out your personality traits, give in to the drawbacks presented by a flaw or bond, and otherwise portray your character in a compelling way. Your DM will tell you how you can earn inspiration in the game. You either have inspiration or you don't. You can't stockpile multiple inspirations for later use. So it literally, yes.
It just flat out tells you.
This tells you, and what I'll meet you halfway. I'll meet you halfway here. your DM will tell you how you can earn inspiration in the game is vague for that reason that the DM determines how to give you inspiration, because this isn't hard and set. So I will meet you halfway. This one is vague, but I think it's vague for that purpose.
Yeah.
Pathfinder 2e specifically says at the start of a session you start with 1 hero point. That's specific. That's true.
Yeah.
This also says
This also says how you can get this, though.
Yeah, this also is specific on how, like, it is given to you by the DM.
Yes. And it even tells you the ways that you should go about doing it by role-playing. Role-playing your character in a compelling way. So staying true to your character.
Yes.
So I would say that this isn't vague at all.
I will, the only vague part is your DM will tell you. I mean, it does say typically, right? That is vague in itself. Because again, this isn't always the case in that sense, right?
Yeah. It's because inspiration is typically is usually given out for a large amount of different reasons. They can't quantify all of them.
Yep.
Otherwise, it'd be half the book.
Yeah. In 4e, at every level up, you get 6 plus half your level number of action points. It's specific. Sure.
Okay.
That's in 5e or 4e. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with 5e.
Well, I think he's just making the point of that's also specific, whereas 5e is not. And again,
but I mean,
I don't think that that's
so
true.
Then is getting the same amount of actions no matter what level, is that not also specific? You always have the ability to do a move action and attack action.
Yes, that is what I think he's referring specifically to inspiration. Because this isn't a resource that you gain every session, right? Like this is inconsistent in the way that you gain it. So fair enough in that case as well. I'll meet you there. Yes, it is inconsistent how you get inspiration, or when you get inspiration. Sorry, not how. It is inconsistent when you will get it. Although the consistency is then made by the DM. But yes, for the ruling itself, it is inconsistent when you will get it, but not how.
But I mean, it's kind of inconsistent by necessity.
Yeah, there's no way they can account, because if you gave everyone inspiration every game, that'd be weird.
Yeah,
there'd be a hot mess.
It'd be a whole different game.
Yeah. And 5e DMG doesn't give specifics. Well, yeah, I haven't looked at the 5e DMG's thing on inspiration, so for now I can't comment on that because it's over there somewhere, I think. Where is my
I can't
DMG?
comment over it because it's over there.
I don't actually know where my DMG is, so
yeah, right.
I can't really look at it right now.
I think I have it on my shelf, but never.
Yeah, it's not too important, the DMG. So again, we always say, or we don't always, but we say read your player's handbook, not the DMG.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's continue with the video, huh?
Yeah, were we watching a video?
Or are they just kind of sensing the vibes
of
the room a little bit? We really don't know.
Tanjiro.
And that would make a difference, especially if they're seeing with sound instead and then their character gets deafened. Another rule is surprise. Surprise is technically stated as a condition. A surprised creature cannot take actions or move during their turn, and then at the end of their turn, they're no longer surprised. Seems pretty straightforward. You do an initiative order and everything like that. However, let's say that your party is approaching a group of monsters, but your rogue sneaks off to the side. The rogue is undetected by those monsters, but the party is engaging them in the front. So now, all those monsters are surprised by the rogue, but not by the party. Well, how do you rule that?
The arcs are not, or the monsters are not surprised by the rogue. They are surprised. That's it. And so if they are already in combat, they are now alerted and they are no longer surprised.
Now I'll give you this. Surprised as a condition, and the way that they talk about it is shit, and I hate it.
Yes, no, that's very bad. This is another example of just use your head a little bit.
Yeah, this is extrapolation again, because I would then rule, so the rogue has advantage.
Yeah, that's another way you can
whatever it's doing, because they do not know that he's there.
Yes, and they were not expecting him.
Way to do it, because they are surprised by him, so he gets advantage on them.
Yeah. I would, and like if I was DMing it and you said that, I would absolutely be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
That way I can still reward the rogue for remaining undetected.
Yeah, absolutely. It's because quite literally, there's no way that it. I mean, it is surprised. That's just
Yes.
that's just another way for it to work.
But yeah, it's just not the normal way, I
Yeah.
guess.
Stealth can be kind of vague. Oh, I'm sure. I don't know about that.
Yeah, fucking
I don't
stuff,
know
man.
about that. I'll be honest. It's been a long while. Does it
Yeah,
say how to
'cause-
determine surprise in the book? It is exactly as he said. Which again,
Yes.
I don't like surprise, the way that surprise is done in this. It's weird.
It's not the best.
It's not great, but it's definitely like it's fine if you use it the way it is. Quite literally, it's like as regards to combat.
Stop saying quite literally, dude.
Sorry, have I been saying it a lot?
You say it all the fucking time.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised you never noticed that.
I don't listen to myself talk.
That's true.
Um.
Don't worry, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Just fucking around.
So the surprise condition, the condition is itself regarding combat.
Yes.
It's just like, hey, as he said, if they are surprised, then they don't get a turn. That's how it works.
Yes.
That's the entirety of it. Whereas I don't know. It's fine, but it's also like you then have to figure out which individual monsters are surprised.
Yeah.
And that's just weird. I like giving a surprise round instead of giving individual surprised monsters, right?
Mhm.
If the party comes up on them and they fucking didn't know, hey, surprise round. You get to have all your turns and then we go into initiative order, right? Well, we do initiative, but they all get to go in their initiative order all first, and then we get to go to the top of the round, right? Like, that's how I like to do it for surprise, because I will agree, surprise sucks.
Yes. Oh, there is a stone door.
How are the monsters now under the surprise condition while also not being surprised as well? Number 2, combat. Combat. Ugh. Combat is so crucial to D&D, but it is so often also the worst part of any campaign. I love combat. Let me clarify. I love good combat. I hate bad combat. Bad
think most people
combat
do.
is slow and repetitious. People move, then they attack, then they get attacked, then they move, then they attack, then they get attacked, and that just happens over and over and over again until one group or the other is dead. More times than not, it's the monsters.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
This is any system. Okay.
Yeah, this is all systems, but let's wait until he actually describes why.
Yeah. I want your rules for surprise rounds for my swashbuckler. See, this is why I haven't used them for Pathfinder, because I think Pathfinder probably has better ones.
Not to mention, if you're playing D&D with a bunch of people who play a lot, like I do, then the monsters start to get predictable. People know what these monsters are. You can't cover them up anymore. And God forbid you're playing a martial class in a boring combat encounter because you just run forward and hit things.
Okay, so when you get the you're using a meta point, or a meta you're pulling from the meta to try to bolster your point. So
Yeah, that doesn't work, man.
Regardless
Sorry.
of regardless of what your players know, your characters don't know the same things all the time. They
Yeah.
might know a lot of it, they don't know all of it. So just
Yes.
because you've played with people, or we've played with this group a bunch, and you've used these same monsters, the characters shouldn't be acting the same way.
I
right?
can understand how it can get a little bit tiring, because I know that it was at least slightly tiring and also a big relief when we were in the Age of Magic Fur campaign, where once we actually asked, what were those green things? They were goblins. Yes, we don't have to call them green things anymore, because we all knew what they were.
That's a whole different thing, though, of course.
I know,
right?
exactly. But
Look,
it does lend to oh, well, yeah, no, I guess you're absolutely right. Never mind.
yeah, I was gonna say
Retracted.
that's quite literally just like, oh, I
I
just
said
want
it
my...
again.
That's true. Fuck. Anyway,
I'm gonna keep an eye on you.
okay.
I don't give a shit.
Dude, that is exactly how combat goes, lol.
Yeah, right?
Move,
Like-
attack, take damage, monsters die, and win. Well, 95% of the time, monsters die.
Yeah.
It's where tactical games like Pathfinder 2 and D&D 4e shine. I should say tactical focused games. So again, like we said before, you can make 5e tactical. It's easy to do. It's just one of those things that most people don't do because they just run up and they hit the monster, right?
Yeah.
But you can
There's nothing
easily...
wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. And again, this is as long as we are running an encounter that has it's not just a flat fucking room that's 60 feet by 60 feet. You got 4 dudes in it, and all they do is the 2 guys in the back. They just stand there. They do nothing. They try not to take cover because there's no cover in the room. They just stand there.
I gotta rewrite my final boss.
They're shooting at the players, and even if the players get right next to them, they just stand there and they just don't do anything. And the 2 guys in the front
them yet, though.
That's
Haven't
true.
You played WoW?
That's true. The 2 guys in the front run in, and they go in, and if they're doing that, then there's no tactics.
Then that's a problem,
right? Like that's the way the encounter is made. You can make it tactical where they are trying to duck behind cover. They're trying to, I don't know, shoot parts of the environment in order to create landslides or things to fall down so that the players get either hit by them or get impeded by them, right? You can
do that, but don't.
Oh, right. That's fair.
Anyway.
I love that my PCs aren't too tactical in Pathfinder 2e. My monsters love all the attacks they get, even when I use the critical hit and fumble decks. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that's it. That's all you do every single turn. 5th edition modules also have a tendency to rely on random encounters. And random encounters are one of my least favorite things in the entire game. I absolutely despise random encounter tables. I think they're handy and I think they're fine, but if they are overused, they are absolutely dreadful. Random encounter.
Okay, that's just a personal opinion, and also...
but I want to hear why it's his big problem, though, because he's about to go into it, I think.
Maybe.
I'm just curious to hear the opinion, because this is kind of like a...
Overall, the opinion is, if it goes for too long, it is not great.
Yeah, right?
That is what I've
That's kind
gotten.
of
And I'm
everything.
like, yes? Ducked out for 10 minutes still being super nitpicky about rules. Not nitpicky, fucking clarification.
Yeah.
Although the RPG, I think, does this the best.
Welcome to our podcast.
Right.
Where we
Welcome to the podcast where we quite literally will go in depth about something so that we all understand the positions.
Hey.
Huh?
You said it again. Sorry, I'll stop.
Although the RPG I think that does this the best without being like 4E is the game Iron Heroes, which is Mike Merle's best design and the one he did before he got hired at Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, cool.
This guy sounds
Never
like Cozy. I mean Cody, and his complaints about Pathfinder 2e combat. A little bit, not much, but he's getting. It's literally just.
A bunch of takes.
This is quite literally just like what we said with Cozy's thing. He was saying that he didn't like the repetition where we were like, that's in everything, just maybe do something to change that.
Yeah.
And he's just going, I don't like the repetition in 5e, and I'm like, okay.
And I'm not gonna fix it, but
Right.
I still don't like it. That was the thing. It's so dumb.
To me, are the D&D equivalent of anime filler. They're just there.
There's nothing wrong with filler.
You have nothing else to put there.
I mean, sometimes filler can be just nothing. Right?
Yeah, sometimes, but filler in and of itself is not inherently bad.
That's true.
I watch Gintama, and that show is like 100% filler, and it's incredible filler. Eat me.
And like he's talking about the random encounter tables, and again, like if you don't overuse them, then it's not a problem. Then
yeah,
okay.
so then just don't overuse them.
It's opinion as fact. That's the problem. Exactly.
Yes.
And yet, in a lot of modules. And that encourages people to put them in a lot of their campaigns. And I really wish that was not the case, because it just adds...
So it can, right?
Yeah, yes.
It can. And unfortunately for you, some people really like tables and like rolling on the tables.
Yeah, because it's fun.
And I'm sorry if you don't enjoy it, so then maybe talk to your DM, I don't know,
and say, hey, stop doing that shit.
Well, no,
and then he'll be like, well, I want to do it.
Yeah, and then you figure out, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh
shit, am I
the problem?
Am I the problem? Surely not.
Like, I don't like random encounters, but who cares what I think? If you like it, go for it. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit what we think? Hell, we do a podcast about this shit. Who gives a fuck what we're saying?
Who the fuck is watching us?
Right? What are you doing here?
Nobody.
Everyone here loves tables. Hell, we flip them out. Flip them out of love.
Nice.
To the repetitious nature of combat. And finally, number 1. What is the biggest problem in Dungeons and Dragons?
That, by the way, that was literally his whole thing.
That was it. They're
That's-
overused. That's a big fucking problem, guys.
So it's long combats are slogs and also bad in that way. Don't use a lot of rolling on tables because they're also in modules, and if that's the case, then a lot of people will use them a lot, and that's not great.
And that's bad. That's one of the biggest problems.
Combat and random
biggest.
tables, big problem.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
All right, sure, good.
All 4 of them so far have been inside the game, but the biggest problem
then
is
this
actually
isn't.
outside of the game. And I
Well,
think every
let's
player in
see.
GM will agree with me when they hear this. The biggest problem in D&D is getting people to freaking play.
No.
And
Okay.
getting them
No.
to keep playing.
So, no,
many
I
D&D
understand what you're
campaigns I've started or played in have begun and been played regularly and then gotten to level 5.
This is a big problem for a lot of people. I'll give it to him. Like,
I guess so, but it's not a problem with D&D.
no, it's not. It's
That's
quite
the
literally
problem.
not. Like,
what
that's
I
the
was
thing.
what I was hoping he was going to say was gatekeeping.
Oh,
Because
sure,
that's a
yeah.
big problem.
I don't
in
think that's
D&D.
much of a problem anymore, though. That's the thing.
Well,
right?
I mean, we just reviewed a video like not a few
Well,
weeks ago.
again, that was just an example of what's not great, because it's still a thing, but it's not that big, right? I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that it's that big of a deal anymore, right?
I sure hope so. It just seems like we've run into that a lot more often than
It's
Chance
only
would have.
Yeah, it's only just because a lot of people talk about it. That's it.
Yeah.
It seems to be. Again, I think it's conflated a bit nowadays. And again, we're watching videos that are a bit older sometimes, and
Yeah,
Um,
it's true.
I thought it was getting new DMs to DM so players can play. That would be some
Yeah.
people don't think that DMing is very easy, and it's pretty easy to do. So,
It takes a lot of effort, but
Yes.
it is easy.
and it shouldn't be that people get scared away from it because it takes effort, right? Because
Yes.
it's fun to do.
Playing D&D takes effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Showing up takes effort,
Yes.
and that's the problem that he's having with it's out of the game, so it's irrelevant to this. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
it's not a problem with
sorry.
D&D. It can literally span to any system.
Yeah, this should be problems with RPGs.
Yes, that one is. But yes, I agree with you, Mug. Number 4 is number 1. Magic items and the economy itself. Yep.
Yes, because even having DM'd multiple games, I still never know what the fuck to pay my characters.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I have no fucking idea.
It's really frustrating, actually.
Yeah, my biggest problem is my portfolio of 100+ character builds for D&D and Pathfinder that I never play because I'm a forever GM. Oh man, don't hit me with that. Oh, it hurts.
I gotta remind me.
Being a DM is easy for me. I like telling stories and making shit. Absolutely. There you
Hell
go.
yeah.
I say play games that are not D&D. I know you do, Indigo. I know you do.
And fizz out. It has gotten so common that at this point, I just call it the D&D problem. Most campaigns will get started, everyone will be super excited, everyone will be happy to play, they'll be talking about their characters, and then it gets to level 5, get that text, you know the one I'm talking about. Hey, I can't make it this week, any way we could move to next week? You used to get together every week, and then you start getting together every other week, and then you only get together once a month, and then you kind of stop getting together, and then you occasionally
I'll be honest, most of the groups that I've been in, except for ours that we do for the show, but most of the other groups that I've been in, they go on without me.
Yeah.
Like, it's unless like a majority of people are not gonna make it. That's the only time where it gets canceled, and that happens sometimes, but I don't know.
And I don't know, it's a problem. I don't know it. Actually, you know what? I have a question for you, because I have a problem where I don't like to play other people's characters.
Sure.
because I don't think I could ever really play them the way that they would play them right. Because
Sure.
like I'm always so scared that I'm like, say Aiden, I don't know, say he gets in a car wreck and he's out for like 2 months.
Right, yeah, it's
You
just
know,
hypothetically, right?
Just hypothetically,
Mm.
say that happens. Of course, it would never happen.
No,
but
never.
if it did, I don't like if I played his character, I would be like, oh shit, if I play his character and then I do something and we get like a big recap and he's like, I never would have done that. You know what I
Sure.
mean? I'm like, ugh,
So-
now I can't go back.
So this is the difference that I think I have with that. For our thing, I wouldn't do it because ours is more of a close knit kind of game, right? Where
Yeah.
we kind of rely on each other being there. Like that's
Yeah.
that's a big part of it. But
Yeah.
for other games so far that I've been in, I've been fine with it because like I've also done this where they're there, they don't really talk much, they're just kind of there, right?
Mhm.
And then like what okay, so what has happened with Gimbal, right? My character that I was using for the Wednesday games that I've been doing. Which unfortunately we're going on a break, so I won't be able to play him for a while, which sucks.
Oh.
But we're going to be playing something else probably. Anyway, so I would sometimes miss shit because I couldn't sleep well and I would have to sleep. Like I just
Yes.
could not stay awake.
Yeah.
Or I felt sick or all those kinds of stuff. And so they would have me going around with them and I was like, okay, I don't know what happened. Okay, neat.
Yeah.
Then after a few times of it, I developed the actual character thing about it, right? Where he's blacking out actually because he's not using his magic because it's wild magic and he doesn't want to use it. And the more that he doesn't use the magic, the more it's going to kill him after a
It's
while.
like welling up inside of him.
Exactly.
And, like,
He
damaging
needs
him.
to release that shit and it's making him black out and he's going around and he's doing all these things, but he has no fucking idea what happened. Right?
Ooh.
And like so I turned that into a thing to use in game in case I ever, can't make it to a session. And then it tied into the whole him wanting to get rid of his magic, right? Because fucking it's kind of causing me damage of some sort, and I also don't want to use it because it could make me explode.
Yeah.
So I found a way to do that. Now I'm not it's not going to be that easy for everybody, obviously, but the other things that I would do is just like, yeah, you were there, I'll fill you in. Like some people have done it where they can text the person, right? And see if there's anything that they would want to do in that case. But I would say, and I would agree with you on our like close-knit friend games that I wouldn't want to do that because I don't want to deny any of us the opportunity to actually roleplay and be there for what happens, right? Because it's pretty integral.
Yeah, not to mention like everybody's getting their own like arc and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And like
I'm
excuse me. And like in the Wednesday thing as well, like I assume that I will, get through what I'm getting through with my character, and like there are things that are made specifically for me to be there, but if I miss them, I miss them, and I'm fine with that, and I know my DM knows that, and so I'm okay with it, and as long as I'm okay with it, then, or as long as the player is okay with it, I think the DM should also be okay with it, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's talking about the logistical problem of getting players to commit. Yes, he is, which is outside of D&D.
Yeah,
It's not a problem with D&D, it's a problem with people.
Yes.
Unfortunately. And again, it can apply to any game, so any system, so I remember a gent on the Paizo forums making a bunch of PCs and made a doc for everyone to look at them and use them for their games just because they like making characters. I think his username was Raving Dork. Well, he's a great guy then. And yes, if you have a bunch of PCs, use them as NPCs, absolutely.
Oh,
They're super, like, it's super, like, I have most of my PCs in my world that I have made. So, yeah, it's just fun to do. Because then you get to revisit them every now and again, maybe. Anyway.
Only message each other back and forth about how much you miss the group, and then the campaign dies. An untimely, unfortunate, silent, lonely death. It is easy to get interest into a campaign, but it is very, very difficult to maintain it. Which is normal and perfectly understandable because everyone has different priorities. People have jobs, they need to sleep, they have different schedules oftentimes. So it's very, very difficult to get people to meet up at all, not to mention for a few hours at the same time every single week. And so due to all of those things coming together, people will start playing D&D and then they just kind of stop. And I've heard about this happening many, many times with many, many different groups of people. It's happened to me a few times, and I think it is definitively the biggest problem with D&D by far. So those are, in my opinion, the top 5 biggest problems with
you got the in my opinion thing in there. There we go. He's
finally.
Immune.
D&D. Tell me in the comments below if you think I missed anything, because I would
that.
love to make a video about whatever you all think are the biggest problems out there as well.
Also,
if you liked this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to our channel. It helps us out so much.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
the other stuff that I saw from him was fine. So
yeah, this
you
one,
this one I'm
sorry.
I'm less into, but
a little less fine.
Yeah, that's Jetpack 7. Go check him out actually.
Yeah.
See if you like his stuff. And check out the other guy. I don't Chet was the first
Bald
video.
man.
Yeah. What's the fuck? I forget. Oh no.
I
have the note right here. Hold on. Nick Pearson. Nick Pearson, the first guy that we checked out.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't put this argument on a list like this. Yeah, it shouldn't be here.
No.
Oh, it's what I do. I'm bad at chronic guest NPCs. There you go. Yeah, well, you know.
My problem is that if I ever put one of the characters that I developed into an NPC, I'd want him to be like, I would want him to have as much spotlight as a player character because that's what he was intended for originally.
Yeah, fair.
So I'd be like, I can't just let this guy do nothing and just be an interesting NPC that just like, hey, you're interesting. Okay, bye. You know?
Yeah, you could probably tie him to the story and have him be visited multiple times if you really wanted to, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it, everyone.
That's the 5 biggest problems with D&D.
Yeah, I mean, some of them I agree. most of them I didn't.
You know what the biggest problem in D&D is?
What?
The fact that he thinks that these are the biggest problems in D&D.
No, only the one. Like literally,
yeah, just the one. The economy one. Absolutely.
Yeah, that one I super. And again, it should be on number 1. It's just
yes.
Anyway, so that'll do it for us for tonight, everyone. Thank you so much.
That was kind of a quick one, I feel.
No, we went for 3.5 hours.
Felt quick, probably because I'm playing Terraria the whole time.
Probably. Thank you everybody for coming by, hanging out, and lending your voice. Very much appreciated because it was very interesting to go through a bunch of rulings and stuff. I hope it helped. Did it feel like a short night to everybody else? Okay, well, yeah, there you go.
Did it feel like it to them too?
It felt like it to Indigo at least. So there you go. Thank you to our patrons again: Draco Kusagi, Slazer, Steve Lee, Drake Cross, Mog Zero, Chris, our new one, Frozen Spaghetti, and Kill Chrono. Very much appreciate all of you, and thank you out there to everyone who has been watching again. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Catch the VOD when it goes up on Friday, and for those of you who are patrons, you'll be able to see it if you go on the Patreon page. You'll be able to see it early once I have it up there tomorrow.
Sorry. Have we gotten any comments on the new session or no? Or is that not out yet?
That comes out tomorrow, actually, I was going to say.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're good. Have a great night. Take care. Avoid dark alleys. Thanks, Indigo. You too.
Yeah.
Tomorrow as well, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is on Wednesday. For those of you who don't know what day it is. I don't know. Or it's, in the future, fucking, I don't care. The next session of Devils and Dice is returning for public consumption. It's been on the Patreon since I had it set and started. So if you want to see it early before it comes out tomorrow, hey, it's there. But yes, tune into that because that is starting up again. Thankfully, it's going to be fun.
Yes.
was a lot
Gotta
of fun.
be. It was.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for our returning session, thankfully.
Yes.
We haven't lost any touch.
Yes.
Which is good.
Well.
What do you mean? It was fun. Anyway, so that's that. Remember, you can find this podcast on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the live recording of it. You all right over there?
He killed me.
Oh.
I'm trying to kill him before he kills me, and he keeps hitting me with rocks.
So, and then again on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, available early for our patrons. And then again for audio only listeners on the podcasting service of choice at around 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. Other than that, yeah, check the links in the description. It's got a bunch of links there. You only spend money if you are financially able to and willing to yourself. Please do not do that otherwise. It's crazy that you
really
do.
Rich and you just want to like share the green.
Unless you're really rich and you want to give to the people again. But yeah, thanks again, everybody. It's been fun. Don't think I've forgotten anything. Nope, this time I think I got everything. So, yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Goodbye.